thoughts about why I chose the Gardens
Good morning,
of Boca
everyone. Good
Raton
morning.
to be my final resting place. I have always been uncomfortable.
If you are new here, my name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Most pro-Trump radio show in the world, as you can see. The longest running radio show in Florida. Yes. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you love Trump, you're going to love this show. If you don't love Trump, you'll love the show and you'll learn to love Trump, I promise you. Welcome, everyone.
Ones can come and visit you time and time again, remembering and celebrating your life. The Gardens have caring professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is available and prevents your family from having to deal with these matters at the time of their grief and sorrow. The Gardens of Boca Raton, dedicated to all those who have lived and all those who live today. Let the Gardens take care of your family as they are taking care of my
That's
family.
right.
Schedule a tour today. Call 877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com.
Hey,
Tell
April.
them Steve Kane sent you.
Hey, Steve.
This is Steve Kane for attorney
Here we go.
Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job.
Did you guys see, I'm going to talk about this on the air, so you guys will hear it twice, but did you see what Elizabeth Warren had behind her when she was speaking from the classroom? If you find the video or a photograph of Elizabeth Warren talking in that classroom, on the right, it's on her left, but on the right of the screen, there's a bookshelf there with toys, and using letters for little kids' games, it says BLM.
I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina.
I know, crazy
the laws
town.
are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people just blow you off, right?
That's right.
know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things.
Hey, Nick, good call at the end of yesterday's show.
Because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell him Steve sent you.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show
yes.
toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE.
Here we go.
That's 1-888-GO-KANE. 1.
Yes. All right. Good morning to each and every one of you out there. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It's 5 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. Thursday, August 20th, 2020. You know, I started talking about this a few weeks ago on my podcast. You guys all listen to my podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm almost up to episode 1,000. I can't believe almost up to episode 1,000. I know, it's crazy. But sometimes I talk about things on my podcast that I'm just kind of processing, thinking out loud at home with the wife at the studio. And I talked about this on my podcast a few weeks ago, and I've had more people laugh at me, mock me, including my own family about this. But last night is definitely proof that I am right yet again. Are the Democrats trying to throw this election? Are they really trying to throw this election? No? I would love to see a great meme come from the president or Don Jr., the president who spied on me with Obama last night. I mean, come on. You know, when I talk about the Democrats trying to throw the election, what I mean by that is, don't worry, we'll get to GoodYear. What I mean by that is this. They have been taken over by hardcore left-wing radicals that are literally burning down American cities as we speak. Is it possible that the Democrat Party establishment is involved in trying to regain control of their party, much like the Republican establishment is trying to take back control of the Republican Party. And, you know, I shouldn't even say this on because this sounds crazy. But, you know, this part sounds crazy. This is even crazy for me to say. When you look at John Kasich and this list of Republicans that have gone there and been talking at the Democrat convention, doesn't that turn off Democrat voters? Is John Kasich and these other Republicans, Colin Powell and the rest, don't they help Trump? Doesn't it help Trump for these creeps to go there and talk? I think you could very much make a case that the Democrats are trying to lose this election to cleanse their party of the radicals. Look, they got Veruca Salt, AOC, the commie bartender, right? 60 seconds. It's just a theory. Okay, now, there is something I want you guys to look for. And I'm going to get into GoodYear here in the beginning, but I want to take your calls. Anything you have to say about the convention is certainly welcome and fair game today at 1-888-GO-CANE1. And I want to talk about GoodYear because I talked about this on my podcast last night. Then I've had some other thoughts on my way into work this morning about President Trump's call for a boycott of GoodYear, which I want to definitely talk about in great deal. Your thoughts on that too are welcome at 1-888-GO-CANE1. But look for this. Elizabeth Warren spoke from a classroom. These Democrats love to be in a classroom, especially Biden, right? He was in the high school library the other night with his wife when he said, "I'm Joe Biden's husband." They're in classrooms all the time because they want to act as if they support public education, which they really don't. But I don't want to get sidetracked and all of that stuff. But last night, Elizabeth Warren's pre-taped speech was in a classroom, and it looked to be an elementary school classroom. Find the video or a still photograph and look for what I am going to describe to you. You will see this. On the right of the frame, which would be on Elizabeth Warren's left, there's some shelves in the background with classroom materials and toys. And you will see 3 child letters, that are used for games. You'll see 3 letters spelling out BLM standing up on the shelf behind Elizabeth Warren. It's on the right of the frame to Elizabeth Warren's left in the back. Go and check that out. That tells you everything you need to know. I mean, my goodness. I know, it's insanity what's going on. And Barack Obama last night, everyone's saying this. This is not unique to me. He didn't even mention Joe Biden, who's the nominee, who's the candidate. So we'll talk about all this as the show goes on. I want to talk a bit here about GoodYear. My first thought with GoodYear was, well, let's take a break here and let things play, because things move too fast. And, President Trump is always right. He's always right. Even when you think he may be wrong, he's right. He's always so many steps ahead of everyone else on every single thing that's out there. It's absolutely amazing, President Trump, how right he is. He's never wrong. I've never known him to be wrong. That's why you'll never hear me criticize President Trump. But yesterday when this story with GoodYear, and I'll just give you a little bit of brief background. I'm not going to read through a story now. I might later, but not right now. There was a diversity training workshop out of the GoodYear corporate office, and they had what was acceptable and not acceptable to wear. And they said that gay pride clothing and Black Lives Matter things were okay, but MAGA and Blue Lives Matter were not. And the president saw this. It's a photograph of a slide from a PowerPoint presentation in the diversity training. And it was online. President Trump took that, immediately went to Twitter, and talked about boycotting GoodYear. And my first thought was, I don't know, and I watched the McEnany press conference, and of course they jumped on this, the media, the sickos in the media. And what they is it a good idea to boycott an American company right now? During this? Well, I don't know, you've got huge parts of the economy shut down. That doesn't seem to mind, but it doesn't seem to bother you guys. And my first thought was, well, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe the president's gone to, reacted here a little too fast. Maybe you should sit back and relax and let things play out a little bit. And then this morning I realized he was right on the money as always. See, this is why you should never question President Trump. He's always right. He always knows what he's doing. He's at least 5, usually 10 to 15 steps ahead of everybody else, including me. And he's brilliant. You know, what happened with Goodyear, with Black Lives Matter and the gay pride, that's a secondary thing. But with the Black Lives Matter and not allowing Blue Lives Matter and MAGA, but it was mostly Blue Lives Matter. This is very important. This is very important. And Goodyear will be okay. Goodyear will survive this, and they'll make a correction. They'll do it a little slow because they've got some problems. But the thing with Goodyear that's important to stop this now, which is what the president is doing, is to stop other companies, other great American companies, from doing what Goodyear did. You know, there are a lot of liberal left-wing companies out there like Starbucks, you know, and I go to Starbucks and I see the baristas with the Black Lives Matter all the time at Starbucks. And, you know, and they don't realize what Black Lives Matter is all about, the baristas that wear it. They don't. They think they know. They don't know. It's more of a hip thing. You know, it's hip, like when, you know, it's a hip phrase, like Frankie say relax. You know, or something like that, you know. I don't know. That could be more relevant than that. I know it's old, but you know what I mean. And what President Trump is doing is stopping this in his tracks, and there's a dialogue going on. Well, wait a minute. They don't support cops. They're supporting Black Lives Matter. Other companies are going to stop doing this. If Goodyear is not stopped, more companies will do this. And, you know, what's going on here with Black Lives Matter, so far as at the corporate level that we're seeing with Goodyear, which is not a liberal company, at least isn't perceived as a liberal company like a Starbucks. Could very well be a bunch of snowflakes running the place. I don't know. But what Black Lives Matter is doing, okay, is very similar to what Jesse Jackson's racket was back in the 90s, going around shaking companies down to cave to their will. Now, Jesse Jackson was doing it for money. He was doing shakedowns for money. Black Lives Matter, they seem to have a steady stream of income coming from somewhere, we don't know where, but they're shaking companies down to bend to their will politically. And stopping Goodyear from doing this early will stop other companies from jumping on board because they don't want to deal with this right now, especially after what's been going on this year so far as business. So President Trump right again to call for a boycott of Goodyear. And it was interesting, was it John Roberts? One of the reporters yesterday asked President Trump if he, you know, the Beast, the presidential limo, has Goodyear tires on it. And they asked him if he would switch out the tires. And he says, yeah. So, you know, yeah, I know. By the way, if you want to switch out your Goodyears, go over to Friendly Tire. You'll get a great deal on new tires to switch them out. But, no, other companies have to stop doing this because, you know, what happens with the left go around, and right now it's Black Lives Matter. You know, you could go back in time every 5 or 10 years, and there's always a liberal cause, and what liberals do is they intimidate, right? They shake down companies to start promoting their agenda, like Michelle Obama with McDonald's stopping the French fries and the Happy Meals or something. You understand what I'm saying here? So what President Trump has done with Goodyear will make a correction. They're not going to allow anything political, which is, I think, probably how it should be. And it will stop other companies from caving to BLM, which is a good thing, and supporting our police. Who would have thought that supporting police would be controversial? It is controversial in liberal circles. And, you know, everyone is against police officers murdering people. Okay, we don't support criminals, and if a police officer becomes a criminal, we don't support that. But this blanket stereotype, it's so interesting how the left, the tolerant left, right, they think they're so in favor of diversity and everything, and they're really not. And they're so into stereotyping. They stereotype all police officers as criminals, and they want a blanket statement condemning all police officers everywhere. Police officers don't even support cops that go out and commit crimes, but you know, very few cops commit crimes. And when they do, they're punished for it. Just like the 1,500 protesters that Barr has arrested. All right, let's take our first break of the day. It's Thursday, people. My name's Brian Craig. Any thoughts on that very terminally boring convention last night? Oh, man, are certainly welcome. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E. And the number 1, numerically, that's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll take a break and be right back after this.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane Radio Show. Tom called in on the radio to tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Hi, this is Tom from Tamarack.
Hey, Tom from Tamarack, what's up?
I just want to tell you guys something. I spent the last 2 days trying to get brakes for my car. I was leaving the house yesterday to go try another place that had a lower price. They wanted $800 for brakes.
Good morning, everyone.
Advertisement came on for Champagne. I live in Western Tamarack. I said, let me take a drive up there. Well, I was almost blown over how friendly, honest, old school these people are.
Old school, that's really the term that really describes it.
But let me tell you, the guy I had gone to previously won $800. He said, well, you need to change your power steering fluid. And Ed, the owner, put the car up in the lift, pulled the wheels, because you don't need brakes. And I about fell over.
Wow. Well, tell me the end of the story. You got me hooked.
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were dealing with a crook.
Oh, absolutely. This guy wanted to sell me everything but a washing machine. I don't want that.
Now, this is our new sponsor. We have wanted for a long time
Steve Kane Show
to have an auto repair shop. When it comes to auto repair, that is the most difficult category for us to find as an advertiser, because most are like this guy you were dealing with the other
good
day
morning,
over in
Robert.
Tamarack. They're crooks. And we found Champagne Automotive. Ed, who's the owner, is a listener of the program. They come very, very highly recommended. So I appreciate you calling in and telling us the good story. Now, Champagne Automotive, they're in Boca off Spanish River Boulevard, immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, guys, welcome back. By the way, if you do not, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Brian Craig Show on Twitter and Instagram. I'm very active on both. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll get all my show prep for the radio and for my podcast. And I'm always on Instagram, too. Brian Craig Show on both Twitter and Instagram. All right, let's go to Mike in Boca. First call of the day. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you? I have one question.
No. Slow down. You already asked a question. You said, how are you? And then you went on to ask me another question. Don't you want to know how I am? I'm fine, thank you. How are you? Yeah.
Are you going Disney this weekend?
I am thinking about going on Saturday to Walt Disney World. I'm thinking about it. What's scary about that?
Did Kamala Harris say Predator last night on television?
Did she say what?
Predator.
Yeah, she says she knows a predator when she sees one, and that's why she's staying close to Joe Biden, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, but she was implying that the president's a predator. Yeah, a predator of a good economy. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. A predator of American greatness. I don't know. Was she the only predators I know of at that convention are Joe Biden and President Clinton.
That's terrible wording.
Well, she's trying. You know what she's doing? What she's doing is she's trying to act like what the liberal black community really don't like. She's trying to act like a tough prosecutor. Case closed. She's using all these legal references like she's in a trial, like she's Perry Mason, or something. You understand what I'm saying? It's like when the guy, Jack Kemp, was picked by Bob Dole, and he was a quarterback, I think, for Buffalo. He played with O.J., and everything was a football reference. All right, 1st and down. We're just 10 yards away from the election victory. You know, I remember that. And so Kamala Harris, everything's a legal reference, like she's on Law and Order or something.
Yeah. I'm glad that President Trump talked about GoodYear, because this crap has to stop. No one else is talking about it. None of the Republicans in the Senate or the Congress. They're all hiding under their desk. And this stuff has to stop. And I'm glad he did it, because I remember every job I've had, they say clearly state, 0 tolerance. Do not wear, come in with your uniform, come in with the clothes they tell you to wear. Do not wear anything political. Everything needs to be apolitical, which is what I think the way it's supposed to be. Not put on your HR department saying, okay, you can wear this, but you can't wear that. BLM is great. LGBTQ is great.
Well, you know what it is. This is why I was talking about this on my podcast last night. When it comes to liberals and liberalism, right? Right now it's BLM and the gay pride. They don't think they're political. Do you understand that? I mean, these, that's the arrogance. They don't think they're political. They think that's just the way it is. And by the way, I hear a turn signal. Are you turning left or right?
That was my 4-way.
Oh, you got your 4? Oh, would you pull over on the side of the road to talk to me?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Oh, you don't want to say where you are? That's okay. I understand. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. No, liberals don't think they are political. The place I see this, the most liberal place I go to is Starbucks. And I go to 3 different Starbucks on a regular basis, and there's one person in each one of them, at least, that has a BLM thing on their Starbucks t-shirt. I don't get offended by it. It doesn't really, I know what it's all about.
I wouldn't get offended by it, but, I mean, to say, well, you can wear this, you can't wear that, it is a private company, but at the same time, this stuff is just, it's got to stop. I mean, this is...
I would say that, I would say that if I owned any type of company, there would not be any political things going on, with my employees like that. But I don't consider Blue Lives Matter political. Don't we support law and order? I don't understand this idea that, Blue Lives Matter is political. One of my neighbors has a Blue Lives flag up and hanging off his garage. That's spectacular. I don't view that as a political thing.
Yeah.
No. All right, Mike and Boca, thanks for the call. Yeah. Mike and Boca's a truck driver. He's a truck driver. That's what that hazard was about. He's a real working guy. I think everyone should do what the president said: switch out their GoodYear tires and go over to Friendly Tire, get new tires. You'll get a good deal on them. How low the prices are on it. No, but we've got to stop companies from look what they did to NASCAR a couple months back with Bubba Wallace. There's a major infiltration going on out there, and this infiltration that's going on is to hijack certain companies and certain industries. The Black Lives Matter movement has so damaged the NFL brand that I don't know if it can be recovered. They have damaged, I think a lot of damage has been done to NASCAR from the Bubba Wallace incident. Notice how that disappeared, right? That fake news story. And they've got to be stopped. And I'm not a boycott person, because when you boycott a company, you hurt the workers. The first time I picked up on this was back when I was in high school, and they had the Exxon Valdez in Alaska. Remember the drunken captain crashed his tanker, oil was everywhere, and people were talking about boycotting Exxon gas stations around the country. And a lot of people rightly pointed out that when you do that, you're hurting the small independent owner of the gas station or the people that work in the gas station. So, and for the most part, I don't support boycotts. Very rarely would I support any type of boycott because you hurt working people, especially in an economy like this. But Black Lives Matter is a violent organization that many Republicans that hold elected office are calling on the President and Attorney General to declare a domestic terrorist organization. And when you have an organization like that infiltrating American companies like Goodyear, that's something that just can't be allowed. And I would like to find out more about this story, but the press, the media, they don't do anything anymore. I would like to see the media go to the corporate offices of Goodyear, which I guess is in Ohio, and find out how this PowerPoint presentation by this human resources person came to be. Who was behind it? What led up to it? What was the process? Did the corporate level have any knowledge of this? But the media, they don't care. See, they just want division. They don't get to stories. They get like a headline, and then they discuss it for days and days. And here we are in day 2 of this Goodyear story, and we know very little about it. There's no context whatsoever. It came out of a local news station originally. I'd like to see the local news station follow up. And the photograph was of the PowerPoint. I'd like them to go and find out who was presenting this PowerPoint presentation. Did they have approval? Did they do this on their own? Did they run it by the corporate bosses? Is this something that was a one-time, first-time incident? Has this been going on for a while? There's a lot of background here, and we're not getting any of it from anyone. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Indeed it is. On the radio since 1977. That's right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We'll be right back.
Steve Kane, we are here this morning with William Youngerman from William Youngerman, Inc. for our Gold Report. William, how are you? Welcome to the show. Wanted to ask you the big question, the big one that everyone wants to know. With gold, when's a good time to buy, and when do you sell?
Okay, that's and the answer to the question, when do you sell, is really goes back to why did you buy it in the first place? When the reason you bought it is fulfilled, it's time to sell. Or when the reason that you bought it no longer exists, it's time to sell. In 1980, gold hit a high of $850.
Oh yeah.
And people had bought gold all the way up to that level. And at that time, the reason to own gold changed dramatically because we had 25% interest rates all of a sudden. The government said we will stop inflation no matter what, and they did so with very high interest rates. That reason for owning gold then changed, and we dramatically told our customers in 1980, sell your gold, sell. It's finished for the time being, okay? That was a reason. Now, some people held on because they said, no, I want this.
There's a piece of glitter on my mic.
Policy.
Let's see if I can get it off. Hold on.
Insurance policy,
there we go.
You don't necessarily buy and sell your life insurance policies. You have it for a particular reason. And some of your money should always be in gold, regardless of what the price is doing. Yeah. Historically, we've always said at least 5%. At this particular time, we recommend much higher percentage of our assets being gold, silver, and platinum. So the reason for buying it will determine when to sell it. If that reason changes or is fulfilled, that's the time to sell it. But it must go along with the fact that you understand that gold is the only real money in the world. It is the only thing that has no IOUs or attached to it. It is an insurance policy, and it is a hedge against inflation, and it's the only real money that will maintain its buying power for you in the long term.
Okay, well that answers that question. If the question becomes where, well, I can tell you where. William Youngerman, Inc., located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. You can drop by. It's in the Bank of America building, right on the first floor, opposite the Bank of America. You can call William at 1-800-327-5010 or go to the website at williamyoungerman.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is The Steve Kane Show. Oh, man, Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977 when Star Wars was in theaters at its original theatrical release. All right, 32 minutes after the hour, we're talking about, well, there's a lot of things on the table today. Richie the bus driver.
I am fired up, so I hope you'll let me get everything out.
Oh, my gosh.
First of all, I'm so sick of the media, and I'm so sick of Facebook and all of these companies that are so leftist that people on our side can't open their mouth, okay, because they are in fear of being taken off. And
I mean, you talk about that, and it's so true. I mean, there's a lot of places I go. I was talking about Starbucks. Unless I'm going to Wings Plus, okay, any other restaurant I go to, no matter what it is, even a drive-through, I take my Trump hat off before I go in or before I order because I'm afraid that they'll see my Trump hat, and you know what they do. Yeah, I know. There is so much intimidation at every level of the left against conservatives. Yeah.
Here's the deal. I'm going to ask you a question, and then you're going to find out what I'm leading to.
Oh, here we go.
Are you a right-wing fanatic?
No. I'm not a fanatic.
Are you well, here's the deal.
Why, would you think, was that the wrong answer? Do you think I'm a right-wing fanatic? Yeah. A fanatic would be if it, oh no, I'm not an extremist. If a fanatic would be if all day and night, that's all I thought about, was consumed about, and stomped out any opinion who disagreed with mine.
Yeah, are you a cancer?
A cancer? No, I'm not. No, I'm not a cancer on society. No.
All right. Now here's the deal.
What is he kidding?
President Trump. Now you're going to really laugh. President Trump at a news conference, and one of these left-wing news people threw out Laura Loomer's name. Did you see it yesterday?
The Loomer part I missed. I heard them ask about QAnon. What did that? I missed the Laura Loomer part. I must have went to get a Coke.
Yeah, you supported Laura Loomer, and she's an extreme. She's a right-wing extremist. Are you sorry you endorsed her and they threw some negative stuff? So I said, boy, they're starting already. So I looked up the Sun Sentinel, put an article out there, and Laura Loomer, they said, will be a cancer to South Florida, and she hasn't got a chance if she gets elected because she said that Islam, and this is why she was banned, Islam.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that about Laura Loomer. Well, I'll tell you about Laura Loomer. Oh, well, all right. Well, Richie, okay. I mean, you've been talking for 5 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
The reaction to Linda Sarsour.
Yeah. Well, here, I mean, this is very important about Laura Loomer, and I want to share this with people because I most of you know I am very good friends with Laura Loomer, okay, and I'm a strong supporter of Laura Loomer, and I voted for her. But with that being said, she won the primary, and I'm very happy for her. And when I voted for Laura Loomer, I took a picture of my ballot and texted it to her. I wanted to show her I was so excited. But this is a tough race, and the reason it's a tough race is it's a strong Democrat district. And I looked at the voting turnout among Republicans and Democrats, and the Democrats had 60 to 70,000 more people turn out to vote than the Republicans did on Tuesday in the district. About 60 to 70,000 more Democrats voted in the Democrat primary than Republicans in the congressional races. Now, President Trump will be on the ballot in November, and that's going to increase things. But those of you out there need to get all of your friends here in that district to make sure they turn out and vote for Laura Loomer. Voting turnout is important. And I think she's popular enough to win it. But there's a lot of defeatist talk, but they keep telling you it's a Democrat district, it's a Democrat district. They're trying to reduce Republican turnout in that district, and we need to get it out there. Laura Loomer would turn Washington upside down almost as much as President Trump. And they love to show this photograph of her, which is the most uncomplimentary photograph. They have this photograph. I see it in every news story. It was on Jake Tapper last night too. A photograph that was taken beneath her, looking up at her. You know what I mean? And it so distorts her face, because they don't want her to look good. She's got a lot going against her, Laura Loomer, and it's important to support her and get out and vote for her and get your friends and neighbors to vote for her.
Yeah, the right gets attacked for everything. The left gets a free pass. They can say whatever.
They're like the Democrats. They have a license to kill, like James Bond. They can do whatever it is they want to do, and they're never held accountable. Our people are held to a saintly-like standard always.
Well, there was a Republican on Tapper. You mentioned Tapper.
Yeah, I watched that. I'm going to play a clip of it later. Yeah, the ex-congressman.
We're all white. All that's left are white. What do they call us? White something up there?
Yeah.
Congressman, the Republican Party. These people have no shame whatsoever. They put the Sarsaur on yesterday. They had a couple of people prior. I saw this last night. I couldn't believe it. They took God out of the national, out of Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, the first night they said under God. They didn't say under God last night. Wow.
The gay pride thing and everything.
I wouldn't even be able to say it with taking that out because I learned it as a kid in school. I wouldn't even know how to say the pledge without under God in it.
Look it up. This is the truth. The activists. The guy. One guy was from India, I think. He took it out. Another guy was gay because he had the gay flag. He had a.
Well, this is what's listen. This is what's happened with the Democrats. Okay, because I talk a lot about how the Democrat establishment, I believe, is trying to lose this election. I do believe that, and they want to cleanse. See, what's happened is both parties have fringe lunatics in them. The Democrats have a lot more than we do, and what has happened is the fringe lunatic activists of the Democrat base that they cater to during the primaries have made their ways into the halls of Congress and elsewhere, governors and things like this. And the Democrat establishment, there's a Democrat establishment and a Republican establishment, and the Democrat establishment is dealing with, in many ways, what the Republican establishment is dealing with President Trump. And I do truly believe that the Democrat establishment, if they wanted to win this election, they would have a candidate that knew who he was and where he was. And look at Obama. Did he mention Biden's name last night?
You're right. I mean, it's such a phony convention. They can't hide who they are to us. They're trying to hide who they are to America.
Let me tell you a story. I was talking the other day on the show that I watch these YouTubers that live in people that live in RVs, and there's a couple. I want to look up their name during the break because I can't remember the name of their YouTube channel. I want to tell you guys about it. They're a well-to-do couple. They're married and they have a child who's about 5 or 6, and they live in an RV that costs like $150,000. And their daughter has what's that thing that kids have where they have the puzzle pieces on the car? The people that have them, you know what I mean? It's like a developmental thing. A lot of people that are older that have children, their kids have it. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody will know. Somebody will tell me in the chat room. I can't remember the name. Anyway, they have gotten involved in they've gotten an offer to do a charity. Become part of a national charity, and they are very much into autism. Their child's autistic. They got an offer from a national organization to do they're very big on YouTube to become advocates for autism awareness because of the experience they're having with their child. They are turning it down, and they talked about this and they are not political people. And the reason they turned it down is they said they don't feel safe in the current climate of violence to go into major cities, and they would have to go into major. They weren't talking about the corona; they were talking about Black Lives Matter, without saying the name. The husband is afraid to take his wife and child into America's major cities because of the violence, and they have an RV. They would be viewed as a target, they think, and their life revolves around autism, and they turn down working with a national charity out of fear of violence in America's major cities. And these are non-political people. So what I take from that is a huge chunk of non-political people in this country are afraid of what's going on, and that means landslide for us.
I'm going to say one more thing. Fox, they are disgusting. Their news anchors. I didn't watch it last night. I had the sound turned off. Okay, believe it or not, when it was over, they went to the panel. That's when I put the volume back. And I put the volume up, and I said, well, let's see what they're going to say. And they went to Donna Brazile, who she is the most disgusting, phony, and she had tears in her eyes, and this is all black women, and it got really, and then you got Dana Perino once again saying it was a great speech, and thank God then they went to Laura Ingraham, and Laura Ingraham said, not like our news panel, basically what she said. This is how she started off. Not like our news panel. We're gonna break this down, and she tore into all of it.
Well, the news panel of which Dana Perino, who come on, she's in with the Bushes, and the Bush family are in with the Obamas and the Clintons, and they're voting for Biden. Dana Perino, I believe, will be voting for Biden. She owes everything to President Bush, GW, who I'm disgusted by GW Bush, by the way. And I'm very sorry I supported and advocated for him. But, the thing with the news people, they, first I thought, well, they're just trying to score interviews. But that's not it. There's been a purge at Fox News. It started with Roger Ailes, Eric Bolling, Greta Van Susteren, Bill O'Reilly, and others, and it's left wing. And, the news business out of New York is a small business. And the people that work behind the scenes at executive levels and production levels that you don't know or never see, it's an incestuous family they have there, and Fox News has gone lib. And that's that. I mean, the prime time lineup is out of this world, but out of that, other than that, it's lib.
Brett Baer, guy, I gotta say, he comes out during the political stuff. The guy that Brett Baer took his place.
Yeah, Brit Hume.
Brett Hume is the only one that actually still tells the truth and is not afraid to fight with them. The rest of them are kissing butt.
Well, Brit Hume is an old-fashioned reporter. Brit Hume was the Fox News White House correspondent when Clinton was president, and he was the first reporter to ask Bill Clinton about Paula Jones, and he did it out at a Rose Garden press conference. He's an old, it used to be. Who was that old hag in the press corps that was there since Kennedy? She's no longer with us. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about? Who am I talking? You know who I'm talking? What was her name? You guys know. Everybody knows. I say old hag. You know exactly what I'm talking. It used to be there was always one jerk in the press, right? That was inappropriate. Just one. Helen Thomas was her name, by the way. I just remember her name. It was Helen Thomas. But now the entire press corps is a Helen Thomas. You know what I mean? They're all a bunch of jerks.
They're all grandstanding, and like I said, your YouTube, your Facebook, we have to watch every word we say where they can say anything.
Well, part of the problem with that is, it's like the education system. Conservatives need to recruit people to be school teachers, college professors, and to work in the tech industry. If conservatives would recruit people to work in those industries, you would see balance take place after a while. But those industries have been abandoned to leftists, and so it's our own fault, especially the education system.
Right. How about Warren getting in front of Indians today?
Yeah, I know. All right, I got to run for a break. Richie the bus driver, never without an opinion, that's for sure. Listen, let's take a break. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about Dr. Mitch Matez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. He's my anti-aging doctor. That's right, I have an anti-aging doctor now. I was starting to slow down a bit. I met with Dr. Matez, and he found that my testosterone level was low. We men begin losing our testosterone starting at age 30, and it goes down every year after that. Dr. Matez told me I was approaching the beginning of andropause. That's the male equivalent of menopause. I began bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. They're tiny little pellets inserted under my skin, and now my testosterone levels are being restored to where they were when I was 25 years old. Thanks to Dr. Matez, I have more energy, I feel better, I look better, my love life, it's better, and my wife, she's thanking Dr. Matez too. Bioidentical hormone pellet therapy isn't just for men, it works wonders for women by reversing the symptoms of menopause, like the night sweats and the mood swings. Men and women, you don't have to live with the negative effects of aging, like loss of energy, loss of sexual desire, weight gain, or menopause. Call Dr. Matez and meet with him about bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. It works for me, and it'll work for you too. He's located in Boca, and his website is hormonetherapybocaraton.com, or give him a call, 561-953-5490, 561-953-5490, and tell him Brian Craig sent you. This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire.
Thank you very
on both
much.
new tires and used tires.
I didn't look it up, but thank you.
One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for that, man. It's everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man, and Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. Yeah, those YouTubers I was telling you about that turning down this autism event because they're afraid to go into the major cities. The RV Odd Couple on YouTube, and they talked about this in a video this week. I saw it yesterday, so it's probably the most recent video if you go and find them. Gabby Gifford spoke, and, at the convention last night, the Democrat convention, and it's, Gabby Gifford, that's a tragic story. I feel so sorry for her, but there's a bit of the story of that shooting that we're never told. I saw it once, and I saw it live, and we talked about it many years ago. When that incident happened, there was a guy who saved the day, and he was interviewed by Ed Schultz, who was on MSNBC at the time. And because it was live, he told the story that you never heard again. When that monster shot up the Gabby Gifford's event, there was a guy who jumped him, the shooter, and stopped more people from being killed, and there were others who were shot, and there was some tragedy. There was a child I think a child was killed by that animal. And the guy that jumped and tackled the shooter was interviewed by Ed Schultz and revealed something. It was that shooting with Gabby Giffords was in a shopping center, like a strip center or someplace like this. And the guy that wrestled the shooter down was inside one of the stores when the shooting happened. He heard what was happening. He was a concealed weapon permit holder, and he ran out, didn't have to fire any shots, and he tackled the guy and stopped him from shooting more people. And he told Ed Schultz that the fact that he had the gun gave him the courage to go out and stop it. That if he didn't have the gun, maybe he wouldn't have done it. Even though he didn't have to use his weapon, thankfully, but having the weapon gave him the courage to go after that shooter, approach him, tackle him, run after him. It was an amazing story, and you never heard it again because it doesn't fit the narrative. You know, if there was a world without guns where people weren't getting... Hey, you know, if we didn't have weapons in this world, it could be a perfect world, right? Liberals always have this utopia, but they exist, and, you know... Today, gun control... The Democrats at every convention, as long as I can remember, have pulled out people that have been victims of gun violence. They used to do it with James Brady. James Brady was the press secretary for Ronald Reagan. Remember, he got shot by John Hinckley, and the Brady Foundation existed out of that. And they used to bring James Brady out. Now it's Gabby Giffords. Okay, you know, and there'll be somebody else in the future. This is what they do with gun control. But, you know, here's the thing about gun control. A couple things about it, because they brought this up last night. First of all, it's an issue which I think is going out of style even among Democrats, especially with the defunding the police. People are like, well, wait a minute, I, you know, may need to be my own police. So people are buying guns in record numbers right now because of the defund the police movement on top of the violence that's going on around America. But 3D printing technology has made the issue of gun control completely moot. Because with if every gun in America were confiscated and destroyed today, and every bullet, and no guns were manufactured or imported into the United States ever again, if we had that liberal utopian dream, 3D printing technology would be printing up guns like you wouldn't believe. You can already print them on 3D printers, and they work, including the AR-15s, okay? They may not be as reliable as one that's made in the standard way, but you would find 3D printing technology advance light years overnight. And those 3D printers, south side of Chicago, those kind of places, oh man, the gangbangers, they'd be loading up on 3D printers. And those guns wouldn't have any serial numbers on them or anything. It would be worse. And I'm talking about if every gun in America was confiscated and destroyed, or turned it, if they had their liberal dream. You know, the 3D printers would boom. So it's a very ridiculous art. If it wasn't for the 3D printing technology, you know, they could. And I'll tell you another thing about the gun control argument. Seeing how Democrats have behaved in this pandemic, I would never go along with anything that... I told you this when this started. Once Democrats get power, these governors, they'll never give it back. Look at the governor of Michigan. It's effing Shark Week. You know, she's on the hot mic. Oh, you're just so funny. You know? She's trying to get another lockdown going on in Michigan because she enjoys the power. And, of course, anyone that opposes her just doesn't like being told what to do by a woman, she'll say. But, no, it's America, not North Korea. And, you know, we used to do a lot of shows on gun control back during the Bush years and the Clinton years. Remember they had the Million Mile March when Clinton was president and all these things. And when George W. Bush became president, remember the NRA said they're going to have a desk right next to the Oval Office. Remember that? Gun control during the 8 years of President Bush was no longer an issue. When Clinton was president, it was every day, especially in the last term going up to that 2000 election. We did so many gun control shows with so many activists from every gun control organization you can imagine. The Center to Prevent Handgun Violence, the Brady Campaign, the Million Mile March. Whatever gun control activist organization there was, we had them on the program on a very regular basis, almost every week. And we would have them on with gun store owners and things like this. Remember those shows, guys? Those of you that have been around for a long time. When Bush became president, there was no gun control discussion in this country because it just wasn't going to happen. He was from Texas, you know. And we had something. Now, so I've talked about this before, and some of you that were listening back then will remember this. This was an amazing thing that happened. So we did not do a gun control show for 8 years on this program, the 8 years of George W. Bush. Barack Obama becomes president, gun control front and center again. Everyone's talking about it. So he said, well, let's do some shows on this. Let's get some of these gun control people on the show. I'd not called any of them in about 8 years. I started calling the organizations. I don't remember which one I called first, but Center to Prevent Handgun Violence, Brady Campaign, Million Mile March, there were a couple others whose names I can't remember. This was in the early days of Barack Obama's first term. I called and what I would do with something like that is I would contact all of them. And whichever one got back to me first to schedule the interview would be the one that got the first interview. I called the first one, talked to a guy, put in the media request. I called the second group. I called the Center to Prevent Handgun Violence. Then I called the Brady Campaign. Okay? I was shocked. The person that answered the phone at the Brady Campaign was the person I talked to at the other gun control advocacy group. So I had a conversation with him. Then I called the Million Mom March. Same guy answered. All three. And there was another one or two as well. I just can't remember the names of them. And when I got to the third, fourth time, I said, "You're answering the phones for all of them." And he says, "Oh, we all kind of work together. We got, the phones are forwarded here." And then when this was a big revelation to me. I realized there is no gun control movement, at least not at that time. There was no real gun control movement in this country. This was in the first months of Obama's presidency. There was no gun control movement during the Clinton years either. It was a fake movement. And those organizations were always one organization, but they came up with different organizations with different names, with different back stories. Million Mile March has a story. Brady Campaign has a story. You understand what I mean? To give the illusion to the American people that there's a mass movement in favor of gun control. And there wasn't. It was all one big organization, which of course was the Democrat Party. It was a fake movement, I realized. And I'm not saying that there are not people that don't support the liberal gun control agenda. Of course there are, but it's a small minority. A small minority, especially with what you see going on in the country today, right? Every hurricane season, I always go and clean my guns and make sure I've got plenty of ammo, because in case we have a bad hurricane that hits, when we get into a looting situation, I want to always be prepared. It's something I do every hurricane season. And a lot of other people do that too in Florida. But so there's no mass. So the Gabby Giffords moment last night, you're going to see that at every convention the Democrats have. There'll always be someone who's a victim of gun violence. There's not a vast movement in this country in support of taking our guns away. That's not to say that there are not people that support some regulations. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But a gun grab, minority, I believe the liberal opinions are minority opinions on almost everything. Almost everything. The conservative opinion is the majority opinion. It may seem like it's got a bigger voice because they got California, they got New York, and they intimidate companies like GoodYear to promote their agendas. All right, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. It's 7 a.m., 1 hour down, 2 to go. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back after this.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors, that's how, at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review
Good morning, everyone.
Policy.
If I have not said good morning to you.
Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what do you waiting
Steve
for?
Kane
Call
Show.
I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
It's summertime, and that means backyard grilling time. There's no better grill than the Big Green Egg Grill, available at Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware. The Big Green Egg is the world's most versatile charcoal cooking device. It's made of advanced ceramics, retains heat and moisture so that foods don't go dry. The Big Green Egg isn't just another grill. It's also an oven and smoker. It's the only outdoor cooker you will ever need because of the amazing variety of foods that can be cooked on it. The Big Green Egg not only sears steaks, hamburgers, pork chops, and fish, but also bakes bread, pizza, cookies, cakes, and pies. It can smoke turkey, ham, lamb, chicken, and ribs for hours on end. Your neighbors will be impressed and come over just to watch you cook on the Big Green Egg. The Big Green Egg is available at Ace Hardware Deerfield at 365 South Federal Highway, just south of Hillsboro on the west side of US 1, and at Beach Ace Hardware at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea. If you have any questions, call Ace Hardware Deerfield at 954-531-6265, 954-531-6265, and Beach Ace Hardware at 954-776-5811. And when you stop in, make sure you tell Frank you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 8-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun 4 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. It's Thursday, August 20th, 2020. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, and we are talking about Night 3 of the most terminally boring political convention in the history of conventions. Oh, man. All right, let's go to the phones, hear what you all have to say and what you all think. You're on the radio. What is your name, and where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Surfer Mike from Deerfield Beach.
All right. What's up, Deerfield?
Bro, I'm telling you, you bring up the gun thing, and it's like, it's not about guns, it's not about plastic, it's not about straws, it's about people. And, you know, people are the reason, and if they can take away your weapons, and they have control over you. So that's what they want to do, they want to control you.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. I think it's just an issue they think to rally people behind. You know, just like Democrats care about one thing and one thing only. You know what that is?
Money?
Power. Money's secondary. The money and the power and the money. Gangsta's paradise. No, they care about power and winning elections. You know, it's like John F. Kennedy was a lifelong member of the NRA. Ted Kennedy was a pro-life Democrat when he was first running for the Senate. They're whatever they have to be to win an election. If being they don't give a damn about anything they say or promote other than vote for us.
Yeah. I'm with you, yeah.
Yeah.
The guns, and it's like whether it's with Stalin or with Hitler or...
Well, I don't know. They shut down the whole country for a better part of a year. What good, you know, everybody went along with what they were told. You know. Well, you know, listen, the main thing about guns is that we have a Second Amendment constitutional guarantee to own them and bear arms. I mean, that's our, you know, and you know, when they once they erode one amendment, they'll be after the next, you know, and that's the way it is. I don't think they give a damn about gun control. If being pro-gun they thought would win them elections, they'd be pro-gun. There are Democrats that they call them blue dogs. There are Democrats from certain parts of the country that are in league with us on guns. They don't. The Republican Party position is consistent on guns, but not the liberals. They don't care about them at all. A gun saved Gabby Gifford's life, right? I mean,
If you're there, it's a lunatic, which, the lunatics stand out. They tend to with Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, God help us, and so what are you going to do about it? But have them, because then they can control you.
I don't know about that. I don't think that's the issue at all. Like I say, they shut down the entire country and put the country under house arrest, and everyone did what they were told. And so far, you mentioned Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Whenever there's I'm opposed to the death penalty. Okay, I do not support the death penalty. But someone might say to me, well, what if it was your family? Would you want the killer? Well, that's different. We don't put on juries. We don't put family members of victims on juries. As strongly as I am against the death penalty, if they killed someone in my family, I'd become an advocate for them, no doubt. When there's a tragic incident of gun violence, like with Nicholas Cruz, you don't go to the victims and let them make the decision. That's not an impartial decision. Yeah, you understand what I mean? So whether it's Columbine or here, that's the way of it. And furthermore, so far as because the gun control was a theme last night. That's why I'm talking about it. The boring convention. Nicholas Cruz, he should have had his guns taken away from him by the sheriff's office on multiple occasions when they were called to his home and they didn't do it. Okay, because they didn't want to have the crime statistic over there in Parkland. Okay, they wanted it to be the crime-free area. If you don't arrest anyone, you have a zero crime rate, right?
Who are close friends and who were particularly hit by this tragedy, and what they have to say is they go, listen, we knew that this kid or that kid or so-and-so was a problem from the beginning, and they write pages.
No, you're right. I know. That's why I was talking to Steve yesterday. The reason that Nicholas Cruz's trial hasn't happened is because they don't want when Nicholas Cruz's trial happens, which will be televised. It will be televised because it's here in Florida. What they did to cover up crime in the city of Parkland and what they did to cover up crime statistics in the school system is going to be out there by his defense team. And that's why they're putting off the trial. They don't want that happening, Pat. But anyway, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. He does bring up some good points. This convention last night, and I want a really serious question out there because I talk about this and people do roll their eyes at me. Is it crazy for me to say and to think, and I do believe this, that the Democrat Party is trying to throw this election? I mean, listen. Joe Biden is what they call a sacrifice candidate. We all have them. A sacrifice candidate is a candidate that takes the nomination when no one else wants it because they're running up against a popular incumbent. And no one that has a political future wants to run against them because once you get the nomination and lose, with rare exceptions, you're done. The rare exception is Richard Nixon, but the difference with Richard Nixon is he did not lose in 1960. Richard Nixon won the 1960 presidential election. It was stolen by Kennedy, and he could have called for a recount, but Nixon was a decent guy, didn't want to put the country through that. But no one with credibility wants to run against Trump. That's how popular he is. So they got this guy that doesn't even know who he is half the time running. And Kamala Harris, she's destroying her political future. She should have listened to her old boyfriend, Willie Brown. Willie Brown told his ex-mistress, don't take that nomination. Once you're a loser, you're a loser. How many losers come back and win anything? Okay, and I was talking about this in the last hour, and I've mentioned this. And last night's night 3 of Terminal Boredom, and they had a major technical glitch, by the way, which I'll tell you about in a second. But the sacrifice candidates of the past, just to give you a couple, we had Bob Dole in '96, right? We had Bob Dole in '96 against Bill Clinton. What happens when there's a popular incumbent running for re-election that is expected to have an overwhelming victory, The opposing party still has to nominate someone and run them. So since people with political futures don't want to do it, so they find someone that's got nothing to lose, somebody that's been in politics a long time. They feel the party owes them a nomination, and they give it to them. We had Bob Dole in '96, and they've got Joe Biden in 2020. I mean, you think about Joe Biden. Think about this now. Think about it. Can anyone tell you that he's a credible candidate for anything when you look at his mental state? You know, Joe Biden said that people don't have the right to question his cognitive abilities. Are you kidding me? His cognitive abilities should be front and center. If he didn't have cognitive issues, he would be talking about them. You don't have a right to ask them about them because it's going to fall apart for them. Now, they had a big technical snafu last night, and I'm curious to see what kind of coverage they get. They had those big screens with the Zoom people on them. You saw that? Some of those screens, you know, when they had the little squares with all like 30 people in them, some of those screens had the same person multiple times. Has anybody covered that in the news media? I saw photographs of it this morning, Gateway Pundit and elsewhere, all over the Twitter. Yeah, and they may say, oh, that was a technical glitch. I don't know. But why did they have the same person in multiple squares? Why do they have a candidate that doesn't know what year it is or who the sitting president is? And I'll tell you another thing about Kamala Harris. Was that an inspiring story? You know, Kamala Harris, her mother from India, her dad from Jamaica. She was born in California, and when she was between 7 and 9, I can't remember which year it is, how old she was. She was either 7 or 9, somewhere in that area. Her parents divorced. Neither of them U.S. citizens. The parents divorced and took Kamala Harris to Canada. And Kamala Harris stayed in Canada for her entire education through graduating high school until she went to college, and she returned to America to go to college. Okay, and then have a career here. What about Kamala Harris relates to the African American experience? She doesn't have it. She was raised by a Jamaican woman in Canada. What does she know about the African American experience? And when she got up there to speak last night, who cares what her mother? Everybody's mother loves them. What did Kamala Harris say that was inspiring to anyone? I know a predator. Was there anything inspiring? And I'll tell you, when Biden came out with it, she's speaking to an empty room, and then she's done accepting the nomination, and she looks over at the big screen, and they got all the people up there, sometimes the same person in more than one square, and she does this thank you, and she points at people, like she's pointing at the crowd, fake, because they can't see her from that perspective, wherever they're being piped in from. And Biden came out. Was that not the most awkward thing you have ever seen? He comes out, he bows to her from far away, there's social distancing. It was so, not just awkward, but strange. These are supposed to be pep rallies. Anyone pepped by that? Let's take our first break of the second hour, 15 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hi, Brian Craig here. We've been telling you on the Steve Kane Show, for coronavirus testing, stop by Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca. One of our longtime sponsors, Dr. Mitch Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, went to Any Lab Test Now of Boca for coronavirus testing this weekend, and he called in live on the radio to share his experience.
Listen, Brian, I have a great experience to tell you about. I went to any lab test now on Saturday, to get COVID-19 tested. And it was awesome. We had a little experience where we had somebody in our close circle that tested positive after 10 days, by the way. Went and had a test. It took 10 days to get the results. We all went into a little bit of a panic, obviously. So we called up any lab test now. It was about maybe 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. They said, come on right on over. I was anonymous. I didn't announce myself. We went over there. We got there about noon. We checked in. 2 minutes later, they took us back, did our test. We sat in the waiting room for less than 15 minutes. They brought us back, gave us our results, which were negative, and we were on our way home. And a little shout out to Brittany, the nice young lady who did our test. It was completely painless. It was quick, it was simple, it was easy, and it gave you both the IgM and the IgG antibodies, which tells you if you have the infection now or if you've been exposed to it in the past.
Now, you went to any lab test now of Boca?
Boca Raton, yeah, in the Sandalfoot Plaza.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
Well,
it really was. It was cool. And it's easy, it's simple, and I'm telling you, that's the way to go. Forget this 10-day nonsense.
Doctor recommended. Can I say that in the commercial now? Doctor recommended. Any lab test now of Boca Raton.
There you go. Doctor recommended. Yeah, it was really kind of cool, and it was wonderful, and it was easy. And listen, to that end, go over and get tested. This is the test you want to get. It tells you point blank, did you have it, do you have it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, that's great. So Dr. Mitch Matez personally recommending any lab test now of Boca.
You heard Dr. Mitch Matez.
Okay.
Any lab test now of Boca is doctor recommended for coronavirus testing. They're located in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441. Give them a call, 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983.
Well, thank you, Greg.
Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to Steve Kane Show. All right, someone called me during the break and said that awkward moment with Biden and Kamala, it was very strange. It was very strange, and he put his arms out, and they were like social distancing. I just got a call off the air. They told me that he was walking up to her and stopped. I have to watch the video again. He forgot that he's supposed to social distance. All right, let me get to some of these audio soundbites. That was very strange. I can't wait for tonight. You know, Biden even doesn't even have a proper haircut. Have you noticed? This is a train wreck. All right, let's get. This was I watched President Trump yesterday, and the media are getting involved in QAnon now, which I know nothing of QAnon. I really don't. I know a lot of people are into it. I'm not. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, you know. But I got no beef with him, you know. But I know Jerome Corsi is a good guy. Was a part of that. But you know. But anyway, so a reporter asks President Trump in the press conference yesterday about QAnon. And he just had the best answer. Listen to this. This is Trump yesterday. A liberal reporter asks him about QAnon.
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much.
At the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing? Or
Is that supposed to? They say that you're opposing Satan and cannibals, and Trump says, is that supposed to be a bad thing? I mean, you know, isn't everyone opposed to Satan? Isn't everyone opposed to cannibalism? You know, the left, when it comes to conservatives, they do this on Twitter. It's part of the cancel culture. If someone likes you or retweets you or says something positive about you, they try to cancel you out by holding you accountable for everything that person says and does throughout their entire life. And that was a good one. That's supposed to be a bad thing? President Trump is being advised, in my opinion, by Ari Fleischer. I've been saying this. It has not come out publicly, but I believe he is. He was having these 2.5 hour, 2 hour and 45-minute press conferences that were getting very nasty with the press. And you notice his press conferences now are very short. Just like McEnany. McEnany's short, President's short. He usually leaves on a high note. He's out there about 20, 25 minutes. Ari Fleischer, when the coronavirus 2.5 hour press conferences were happening every day, Ari Fleischer said, you got to go out there. You go out there for about 25 minutes, no more. And that's how you handle the press. And ever since then, the president's been doing it. I think he was watching Ari Fleischer, and he may even be consulting with him, because the press briefings are much different. And if you notice, his President Trump's interaction with the press has been different too. He's not getting into the arguments with them. He's being a little more clever, like that instance yesterday. And then he's out. Then he leaves. Mic drop. He's out of there, and the press is like, what? There's 2.5 hours left. What do you mean? And he leaves them nowhere to go. But this new tactic they're doing is they're finding radical people, and they ask him a question about it, and then they try to blame him for, like yesterday it was QAnon. The other day, some Republican somewhere said that Kamala Harris may not be qualified to be vice president because of her parents not being U.S. citizens. And then they asked Trump about it, and then they try to portray it as if Trump is promoting the theory. No, a reporter asked him, and he responded. He said he didn't know. Now, this terminally boring convention last. I do have a couple of clips. One of Hillary, a couple of Barack Obama. I'm not going to play more than these couple of clips because there's not much there that's sound biteable, but let's hear a little bit of Obama. This is Obama on our president.
I never expected that my successor would embrace my vision or continue my policies. I did hope, for the sake of our country, that Donald Trump might show some interest in taking the job seriously. That he might come to feel the weight of the office and discover some reverence for the democracy that had been placed in his care.
Now keep in mind, this is the president who was spying on President Trump, who had illegal surveillance on the campaign headquarters of the nominee of the Republican Party, Mr. Trump. And he's talking about the civility of the office.
But he never did. For close to 4 years now, he has shown no interest in putting in the work. No interest in finding common ground. No interest in using the awesome power of his office to help anyone but himself and his friends.
You know what I'm missing? Where's the part about vote Biden? I got one more clip. Maybe he's telling us to vote for Biden here. Hold on.
They can't win you over with their policies. So they're hoping to make it as hard as possible for you to vote and to convince you that your vote does not matter.
Okay. Now, this is the theme here. Again, nothing about Biden. Nothing about. Play more of it. I think this is the only clip. I only have 2 clips of Obama. Let me see. Yeah, just 2 clips of Obama. This is the second one. Not only did he not promote Biden, he tells you he doesn't like Trump, which we knew, but there's a common theme with almost every speaker at the Democrat Party. They're making it difficult for you to vote. See, they're already planning on contesting the election. This is a tactic that began back in 2000. The Democrats contest every election that they lose. Who could be against them? They represent the people. Anyway, let's finish up with this last clip of Obama.
They can't win you over with their policies. So they're hoping to make it as hard as possible for you to vote and to convince you that your vote does not matter. That is how they win. That is how they get to keep making decisions that affect your life and the lives of the people you love. That's how the economy will keep getting skewed to the wealthy and well-connected.
I like how Obama tries to act like he's not one of the well-connected wealthy with his Netflix money.
Systems will let more people fall through the cracks. That's how a democracy withers, until it's no democracy at all. And we cannot let that happen. Do not let them take away your power. Do not let them take away your democracy. Make a plan right now for how you are going to get involved and vote. Do it as early as you can and tell your family and friends how they can vote too.
Okay, you know, Obama sounds a little different there. Do you know why he sounds different? They don't have that fake echo in the background to make him sound like he's addressing in a big arena. You understand what I mean? You know? But this thing about Obama, just like Michelle's speech the other night, generic speech, they could fit any election. They change out a couple of words, add Trump here, add Trump there, and it's the same speech that's been given 1,000 times. There's nothing new there. There's no vision. There's no... What are they running on? What's the platform of the Democrats? And we know they don't like Trump, but what is the platform they're running on right now? And again, he didn't push Biden in that speech. Everyone's noticing this. It's not just me, so I'm not focusing in on it too much because everyone's talking about it. I heard what he didn't like about Trump. I didn't hear what he liked about Joe. They're in some big trouble, the Democrats. But you know what? That's good. We want them to be in trouble. You know, next week is our convention. We're going to have Melania. She's going to be speaking in the Rose Garden. President Trump's going to be accepting the nomination at the White House. We're going to have fireworks at the Washington Monument. What are they? We're going to have that couple that defended their home in St. Louis. What do they got? They've got most everyone, not everyone, but most everyone that's spoken at the Democratic Convention is retired from public life. Obama, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama. They don't have, yeah, I know. They don't have very many people that are currently working. Gabby Giffords retired. Elizabeth Warren, she's currently employed. Kamala Harris is currently employed. But other than that, they're all retired. Oh, man. But you know what? Listen, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Because next week is going to be a great pep rally for us. And I noticed that the Republicans are kind of keeping on the down low what the plans are next week. We got a little bit, but not too much of their plans. So believe me, they will not be making the mistakes of the Democrats this week. All right, now, listen, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. Steve will be joining us in a bit. I want to get back. I talked in the first hour about it, but we'll get back to it a little bit later in the show about the president's call to boycott GoodYear. And as I said, everybody out there, well, we'll talk more about it when Steve joins us. You know, at first I was a little reluctant, but now I see what the president's doing and why, of course, it's the right thing to do. He's not saying, right now it's more of a tease of boycotting GoodYear more than actually doing it. It's notice to GoodYear to correct this, which they have yet to do. They released a statement, but the statement was very vague, and made things much worse. All right, our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our break and we'll be back. All right, don't go anywhere.
This is Steve Kane, and I wanted to share with you some thoughts. Chose the gardens of Boca Raton to be my final resting place. I have always been uncomfortable with thoughts of death and dying, but the very first time that I visited the gardens of Boca Raton, I could feel my apprehensions vanish. Just knowing that I'd be spending eternity with my family in such magnificent surroundings lifted my spirits. The gardens of Boca Raton is an all-faith, above-ground cemetery with tranquil surroundings, a place where your loved ones can come and visit you time and time again, remembering and celebrating your life. The gardens have caring professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is available and prevents your family from having to deal with these matters at the time of their grief and sorrow. The gardens of Boca Raton, dedicated to all those who have lived and all those who live today. Let the gardens take care of your family as they are taking care of my family.
Choking on my coffee.
Today. Call 877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens.
We're light on trolls today,
Call toll-free
and the reason we're light on trolls is because Bella Thorne's on OnlyFans now, so all the trolls are over on OnlyFans instead of here.
Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. And being the Steve Kane Show, it makes sense to have Steve Kane here. That's why Steve's here with us. Good morning, Steve. Oh, I'm doing great. I slept very well. Everything's fine. Yeah, everything's fine. I slept very well last night because I... Can you hear me? Okay, I can hear you too. Okay, all right. Sounded like we're on a bit of a delay. Okay, now I can hear. No, yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Mr. Barber.
Oh, he's big into that. Oh, yeah, he's big into it, yeah.
Every time I go in for my haircut, it's a bonus. I get to get all my QAnon updates.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy theory, and to listen to Robert talk about it, it's totally legit.
Well, yeah.
Bad guys in politics, meaning the Democrat leadership, gets arrested and gets put away in jail.
Well, the theory behind it, I don't believe the theory behind it, which is ridiculous, is that there's this guy, somebody who is Q, and they're an insider with the government, and they're releasing all these secret things that are going on inside the government to the public. And Jerome Corsi was big into it for a while, but I don't subscribe to it. But that moment with the president yesterday was the best. I mean, he just had. Let me play. Did you hear the clip? Let me play. This was great. So. A liberal reporter asks President Trump about QAnon yesterday, and he just had the best answer. This is it.
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much.
At the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind? Or
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing?
To be against cannibals and pedophiles. Yeah, I know. That was a great response.
I get a lot of this from Robbie when he's cutting my hair, and I've never heard anything about the cannibal thing.
No, I haven't either.
It does involve a bunch of these pedophiles, which I think.
Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah.
That a lot of bad people involved in that, but we can get Robbie on the air if you want at some point, maybe tomorrow if you want to have him.
Yeah.
All of it. He's an expert.
Okay, yeah, he's welcome to call in. Yeah.
I would wager anything. There are people in our audience that are familiar with it. They could tell us if sometimes they get a little paranoid. They don't want to spill the beans too much. But maybe we'll hear from some.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I really don't care what anyone's beliefs are, so long as they vote Trump. The one man, one vote. You know, I don't care what their background is, so long as they vote Trump. It doesn't mean Trump's bending to their will.
I can tell you about one thing I can tell you with certainty about the Q movement. It predicts that at the end of all these elections and at the end of this period, all the bad guys in.
Yeah. Now, did you watch any of this boring convention last night?
Eyes open as bed.
Am I crazy to think that the Democrats are trying to throw this election? I mean, come on.
I think, I think that's taken it a little far, but I don't think it's taking it too far to say that they have no heart for it and they're not enthusiastic about it. It was pointed out rightly that no one was pushing Biden, and the speeches were all bland.
Very generic. Could have been given any day of the year, yeah.
The people who were pushing the vice president,
Kamala? Kamala didn't seem to be enthusiastic about her own candidacy, tell you the truth.
She was talking about how great her mother was, and if qualifies people to be president. I could be president. I had a knockout of a mother.
Yeah.
Surely there's more involved than that.
Well, my mother liked me, and she's looking down, so vote for me. And with my mother, who would vote for me if she could. It was pretty pathetic.
The shocking thing was Obama. He really barely acknowledged her. It wasn't really even an endorsement.
And still, here we are 3 nights and no condemning of the violence across America.
And I would suspect if we haven't had it up till now, we're probably not going to get it from Biden tonight. I think that's a safe guess.
Yeah.
It really opens the door for Trump on his night next week.
Oh, ours is going to be spectacular. No.
And then he can open up and talk about what has to be done, which is to lock these bums up. Evidently, while it looks like a ton of people on television, it's only a couple. I heard this from Giuliani last night. The people in the streets are only about 300 or 400. This is in all the cities combined. Only about 300 or 400 in number, but because they keep releasing them and they won't, maybe the same 300 or 400 people.
You can hear.
But because no one's,
why can't
they don't take them out of action. That's why it appears to be so many.
Yeah.
Be seen whether that's true or not.
This thing with the violence, there hasn't even been a reference to it in either way. But last night, Elizabeth Warren, again, you guys go and look online. This is not a conspiracy theory. I heard the story. I went and looked at it myself. If you watch Elizabeth Warren last night in that classroom, on the screen right behind her, there are shelves with 3 child toy letters standing up, spelling out BLM behind Elizabeth Warren. I mean, that's about the dumbest thing I could think of somebody doing. BLM, right behind Elizabeth Warren. It was almost like an SOS she was giving out.
The BLM movement is creeping ever more out of the closet, and their leadership is speaking out, and they're extremely radical. They get more radical with everything they reveal. And I just don't see how that's not like setting up the ball for Trump to knock it out of the park.
Well, that's what I mean about the Democrats not wanting to win this election. They did this a few years ago, back in 2012, with Occupy Wall Street. And it started out as a movement they were openly supporting, like with George Floyd. And then Occupy Wall Street went national and got out of control, and there was violence and a lot of assaults. And the Democrats shut it down. And this one, they've not made any effort to shut it down. And it's been very counterproductive for them.
The more time that goes by, especially in the recent couple days, they're more and more out of the closet every day, revealing what they're really about.
But I don't know why you are not more I don't know why you're not more confident that Trump's going to have a landslide. It's so obvious. It's going to be a massive landslide.
It's simple. I don't trust. The bottom line is they have gotten me with everything I've seen in the last couple of elections. They've got me to the point where I don't have faith in the electoral process anymore. I mean, if I knew that there was no fix involved in this, I'd feel a lot more confident. But I just don't trust these bastards.
Well, if you listen, I know it's hard to stay awake and listen to these Democrats. I'm here to tell you. But if you listen to the Democrats, all of them, all of these retirees that they have speaking, Obama, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, all of them talk about votes not being allowed to be made, votes not being counted. They're already undermining the election result. If they thought that they were going to win, they would not be undermining the election result right now. What they're doing now is it's foreshadowing for the defeat. Yeah, they're preparing their people to lose, and you're going to lose because Trump suppressed the post office. I mean, even Obama was talking. Obama, Hillary, Bill, all of them, Elizabeth Warren, they all are talking about how people are not being allowed to vote. So when Trump wins, it's going to be because he suppressed the vote. They wouldn't be talking about vote suppression with every speaker if they thought they were winning. You were this way in 2016, though. You didn't think we were going to win that one either.
A little apprehensive, but I'm more confident now. Having seen the first convention has given me a huge shot of confidence, because it's obviously they're not going to get a lot of votes out of this convention. That's for sure.
No. I mean, they got John Kasich's vote. They got Colin Powell's vote. You know.
The latest. Give me an update on GoodYear.
Well, where did you last leave us on GoodYear? I don't know if there's an update this morning.
Which was yesterday. Trump is called for a boycott.
Well, Trump said yesterday that he was asked if he would do this, and he said yes. He was talking about switching the tires on his limousine because the presidential limo has GoodYear tires on it, and yeah, so he's standing by the boycott.
Looking for is whether GoodYear is back down about.
No, they released a statement. They released a statement yesterday that said nothing.
For those that don't know,
he's going to ask
give
me
him
to
a
tell
quick
you guys.
rundown of.
Well, there was a diversity training event at a GoodYear corporate office, and somebody in attendance took a photograph of a PowerPoint presentation and gave it to the local media. And the PowerPoint presentation, it had a list of attire that is allowed at GoodYear and another list and another column that is not. And what was allowed was gay pride decorations on your clothing, Black Lives Matter emblems on your clothing, but Blue Lives Matter and MAGA was not allowed. And that's what started this. And then
it's the outrageous
Steve Kane Show
part that they're excluding the blue line, which is of course the police. That's the outrage.
Yeah.
Just to say no political attire. If you want to work, they have a right to do.
Yeah.
What they're doing is discriminating in an extremely negative way against cops.
Well, but the problem GoodYear has a big problem now. GoodYear has a big problem now. Okay, and the problem they have is that if they come out and say no to the Black Lives Matter emblems, they're afraid that Black Lives Matter will do to their locations around the country what they've done to Chicago and start attacking their locations and burn them down.
And I think they have good reason to fear that, but that's not what they have to do.
They're screwed now.
No, they're not screwed. All they have to do is get up and say no political attire of any kind, and that gets them off the hook. They can't. They're in trouble if they condemn Black Lives Matter. Then
yeah.
They just say no political T-shirts, no slogans, no political causes. It gets them off the hook, not only with the public and we Trump followers, us Trump followers.
We know what you mean.
I like to.
If they came out today and said no. Okay, listen. We got to take a break. During the break, I'm gonna. You got to have Tyler come in and disconnect and reconnect you because we're on a delay that's about a little too long. So we're having a hard time talking. So you got to disconnect and reconnect. He'll do it for you during the break. All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to talk to Dr. Mitch Matez. Hey, Dr. Matez. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian, and good morning, Steve. How's everybody doing?
We're all doing well. Steve's reconnecting, so he's not with us right now, but that's okay.
I'll say hello when he comes back. And Brian, for you, real quickly, I know I apologize for the phone tag earlier this week, but I will call you today after the show.
Okay.
Good. All righty. Listen, Brian, we're going to talk again today about the vampire breast lift. This is the newest thing we have going on here at BRC 4am, and it is really, really cool. And I'm obviously talking to the ladies out there, but I'm talking to the men too who have interest in this. If the size of your breast is the issue, you got to go get surgery and have implants. That's just the way it works right now. However, if you want a true breast lift, implants are really not a breast lift. They're called breast augmentation. If you truly want to lift, get back your cleavage, the shape, the contour of the breast, soften your scars, increase sensation, all of this is easily accomplished with plasma and platelets. Very simple, very safe, in-office procedure. You can do it at lunchtime and go back to work. And over time, it will actually lift up the breast, give you back breast tissue, give you back the shape, the contour, the cleavage. And this is key, Brian. If you have implants, this is in fact a killer procedure for people who have older implants. Same thing happens to women with the implants. The normal tissue breaks down over time. The breast doesn't separate. You lose your cleavage. You get a sag effect, et cetera, et cetera. Very notorious for people losing their sensation after implants. All of this is easily correctable with the vampire breast.
Now, it sounds to me, this is new to me because you just introduced this to us a couple of weeks ago here on the program, and it sounds fascinating because, you know, there's a big movement among women now against breast implants. In fact, many women are having them removed. I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong though, but with this procedure you're talking about, which naturally, it's a natural breast lift, that when the breasts are exposed and naked to their significant other, that it's probably a much more natural look than someone that's had implants and that type of thing done.
That is a great assumption, Brian, because that's exactly what we're doing. The before and afters are very cool here. You see people who pretty much the cleavage has disappeared and there's really no good substance to the breast. And then we do the procedure, and a couple months later you have this really nice physical substance. The breasts come back together. You have a cleavage. We do before and afters both in and out of bras, and it really makes a remarkable difference. And I'll tell you some of the coolest part here. Well, a lot of women with implants will identify with this immediately. One of the biggest problems with implants is the loss of sensation, particularly in the nipple area. This procedure brings it back almost every single time. It's really cool. It's really simple. It's painless. It's just a piece of cake. And for those of you that are interested in the anti-aging aspects of the vampire breast lift for breasts, we can anti-age the whole body here. And this is how we do the breasts.
Yeah, and it's always a free consultation with Dr. Mitch Matez for listeners of the Steve Kane Show. Dr. Matez's number at his Boca Raton office is 561-953-5490, 561-953-5490, and online, hormonetherapybocaraton.com. All right, Dr. Matez, we will talk later in the week. All right, well, take care. Yes, it is Fancy Schmancy, and he's been here. All right, you back with us, Steve? Now you got to get closer to the microphone. Now you're back. Yeah, the mic's close. Okay, you sound better now. Good. We're perfecto here. Yeah, see, this thing about the convention last night, it was really it was almost like they put it on last night because they had to. There wasn't passion from anyone last night, even including Barack Obama.
It was like a school play.
A bad one, yeah. Yeah,
Amateur production.
An amateur production of bad actors, yeah. Well, I heard a guy on Fox say the other day about this convention, the Democrat convention. He said the video things of people at conventions typically are fillers between speakers, and nobody pays attention. Now they're the main event, and it doesn't play.
No. And there's no enthusiasm. There's no excitement. Even when they're talking about the excitement, obviously should be revolving around Joe Biden, and there's no excitement.
No, and then they had the host last night was the actress Kerry Washington, and she came out and trashed Biden. She came out and said the African American community is a diverse community, which Biden said last week it's not. You know, so so last night began with their nominee being reprimanded by actress Kerry Washington, the host of the festivities.
The key high point of this whole thing, everybody's waiting for Biden's acceptance speech to see if he...
How bad it is.
I don't think he's going to F up too bad, but if he does, he's finished.
Well, expectations are so low.
That was the one smart thing they did, was lower expectations.
Now, I wanted to... Yeah, so last night, Rachel Maddow came on after Obama spoke, and she gave some analysis. Let me play a little bit of this. This is Rachel Maddow. This is her analysis. Oh, yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is Rachel Maddow with her analysis of Barack Obama's speech.
So that, to me, was a surprise. President Obama's speech tonight slayed me. I'm sure people have different opinions.
Now, I had to look that up, Steve. The current usage of slayed me.
Me over.
Yeah, impressed me, overwhelmed me, yes.
Different kind of thing from him, but his warnings that we could potentially be at the end of American democracy scared me, and I found upsetting.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to lose democracy.
I agree with that. I mean, we are definitely, with this election, on the verge of losing democracy, so I agree with that.
Yeah, and have mob rule. I thought democracy was threatened when President Obama was illegally spying on Trump's campaign headquarters at Trump Tower. That sounded to be a threat to democracy to me.
Well, it is a threat to democracy, and of course, it depends how it ends, and if there's going to be... I mean, the justice system is still on trial here with this, and we're not going to know until the outcome whether we're in a system.
Well, you know, listen, the Democrats... Yeah. The Democrats have totally lost touch with the pulse of the American people. And, you know, that Republican black female candidate in Baltimore, Maryland, even if she doesn't win, she won the primary, but even if she doesn't win the general election, she's not going anywhere. And she's going to be with Candace Owens on television for many years to come.
Don't want to skip over. What's the name of that nice lady?
I can't remember her first name's Kimberly. Kimberly, is it Klyak? I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. Klyak, something like this. I've got the audio. She did it. She made it incredible. We just have a delay today, Steve. I can hear you getting frustrated. There's a delay between the two of us. Yeah.
They have ways of measuring audience response in terms of how many people are listening and streaming and all this. And more people were listening to her across the country, millions of people, and you'll hear this is the thing we're about to play. And basically we have to assume a good portion of the black, or she's black and her issues are black. I think everything's black in this election.
Yeah.
But according to this, she outscored, in terms of listenership, she outscored Michelle Mabel by a ton.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, so here now this is the I'll just describe it for those that haven't seen it. She's running for Congress in Baltimore, and she made this video as she walks through the streets of Baltimore, showing its current condition. And then at the end, she talks to some of the Baltimore residents in the district.
Do you care about Black lives? The people that run Baltimore don't. I can prove it. Walk with me. They don't want you to see this. I'm Kim Klasick. This is Baltimore. The real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decades of leadership? Baltimore is one of the top 5 most dangerous cities in America. The murder rate in Baltimore is 10 times the U.S. average. The Baltimore poverty rate is over 20%. Homicide, drug, and alcohol deaths are skyrocketing in our city. Do you believe Black Lives Matter? I do. The vast majority of crime in Baltimore is perpetrated against Black people, who make up 60% of the population. So why don't we care about our communities? The Democrat Party have betrayed the Black people of Baltimore. If the politicians walked the streets like I do, they would see exactly how their policies and corruption affects us. But they don't want to see it. They don't want you to see this. Go to any Baltimore neighborhood and ask this question. Do you want to defund the police?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. I had 3 sons killed in Baltimore City. And I think if we defund the police officer, it's going to be worse than that. So no, I'm opposed to that.
What are you going to defund the police for? Why? How do you defend your city, your community? Families are losing people.
It's not just Baltimore. The worst place for a Black person to live in America is a Democrat-controlled city. It's 2020. Name a blue city where Black people's lives have gotten better. Try. I'll wait. Look at this. How are children supposed to live here and play here? Democrats think Black people are stupid. They think they can control us forever. That we won't demand better and that we'll keep voting for them forever, despite what they've done to our families and our communities. Are they right? I'm Kim Klacik, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about Black lives. All Black lives matter. Our communities matter. Baltimore matters. And Black people don't have to vote Democrat.
Yeah, all right, so that's Kim Klacik. I mean, she's, yeah.
The fact that millions and millions of Black people across the country tuned in to hear that, specifically to hear that, is a death knell for the Democratic ticket.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they're more interested in her than Michelle's message,
well, yeah,
mine's in big trouble.
Well, that's what I mean about them losing touch with the American people. This Blexit movement of Candace Owens is huge. It's huge. And, you know, when Trump's going to win. I have no doubts about that. But the most important thing is how much of the Black vote he takes away from the Democrats this time around. I think it's going to be massive.
The two issues are related. If he takes away, I don't know what the number is. I mean, let's make up a number. If he takes away 30% of the Black vote or better, the election's over. He needs to get in the 80 percentile of the Black vote to stand a chance.
Well, you know what part of the problem is that the Democrats have when it comes to the Black vote that they've taken for granted all these years is the generation of Black voters like her that are the parents, the childbearing, generation. They've grown up in a very post-racial era. And the Democrats keep talking as if the civil rights movement never happened again, like we're still in a segregated society, and they don't see that or relate to it. And the message just does not make sense. It's very dated. It's like talking about free love.
How much emphasis would you wager that Trump, when he gets up to make his final speech, his acceptance speech, how much time do you think an emphasis he'll put on the crime problem?
Oh, it probably more than any other issue, specifically. And I think next week at the Republican convention, a huge chunk of it's going to be about the violence around the city that the Democrats are behind. Another thing I noticed, too, last night with the Democrats, they keep focusing on the economy as if Trump's done a poor job with the economy. I mean, whoever has... Yeah, they were all talking about that last night.
It's the last stupid thing that Obama did yesterday, talking about how Trump doesn't have his heart in it and he's not working hard and all this.
That's all he does.
The most... I mean, he's a compulsive workaholic. He never stops. I don't know how the hell he does it. It's incredible.
And an interesting thing about it is he does multiple speeches a day and he flies back home every night on Air Force One. Listen, we're going to take our break. We're going to take our break for the top of the hour. Yeah.
thing. This is what the Democrats do. They will look into the camera and lie to your face, and they're dependent on the fact that they believe that those watching are basically MSNBC and CNN people that don't know the fact.
Yeah.
President and said that he's lazy and he's not.
Nobody buys that. Now listen, we're taking our break for the top of the hour. When we get back, let's hear from some people out there in the listening audience, and there's a lot to comment on here. I'd like to hear your thoughts and analysis of last night's event. Steve and I say terminally boring, out of touch, generic speeches. Also, how do you think Trump's going to fare with the black vote? What percentage of the black vote do you think Trump's going to take away from the Democrats? But next week, what do you expect to hear from all of the Republicans? I expect a strong law and order message. That's why they're having that St. Louis couple, who are Democrats, by the way, at our convention. What do you think our convention will be like next week so far as messaging goes? I think it's going to be an anti-violence, anti-crime message. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's Kane with a K, like in Kamala, K-A-N-E, and the number 1-888. That's right. 888-465-2631. 2 hours down, 1 to go. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
FM 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for that, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires.
I'm watching this crash
no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available.
The most arrogant thing I've ever seen someone do.
For life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
It's summertime, and that means backyard grilling time. There's no better grill than the Big Green Egg Grill, available at Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware. The Big Green Egg is the world's most versatile charcoal cooking device. It's made of advanced ceramics, retains heat and moisture so that foods don't go dry. The Big Green Egg isn't just another grill. It's also an oven and smoker. It's the only outdoor cooker you will ever need because of the amazing variety of foods that can be cooked on it. The Big Green Egg not only sears steaks, hamburgers, pork chops, and fish, but also bakes bread, pizza, cookies, cakes, and pies. It can smoke turkey, ham, lamb, chicken, and ribs for hours on end. Your neighbors will be impressed and come over just to watch you cook on the Big Green Egg. The Big Green Egg is available at Ace Hardware Deerfield at 365 South Federal Highway, just south of Hillsboro on the west side of US 1, and at Beach Ace Hardware at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea. If you have any questions, call Ace Hardware Deerfield at 954-531-6265. 954-6265, 954-531-6265, and BJ's Hardware at 954-776-5811. And when you stop in, make sure you tell Frank you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show.
I'll tell you guys later. It's not for the show.
Dial 1-888-COCAINE.
It's not for the air.
Cocaine 1. That's 1-888.
I'll tell you guys during the commercial.
1. And now, here's Steve.
All right, third and final hour has begun. 6 after 8. I'm Brian. Steve with us. You know, Kamala had the quote of the night. She said last night, "There's no vaccine for racism." Kamala Harris. No vaccine for racism. Yeah, we got to ponder that. Oh my! No vaccine for racism.
on Fox News.
Really?
Really good. Yeah.
Fox News or Fox Business? Oh, no, I don't know.
He's a very good-looking guy, very articulate, very sharp, just an excellent addition to Fox. But yesterday, after Kamala was finished, this is so funny. We're going to play this for you tomorrow. It was my fault I didn't point this out to Brian yesterday, but we're going to have this for you tomorrow. So Kamala's finished, and it's time for the comment from all the Fox people. And they're all up there, and this new black host, somebody in the chat rooms, can we see if somebody...
Yeah, somebody let me know who he's talking about. Yeah.
The black guy. But anyway, so the white hosts from Fox start to comment, and everybody is tiptoeing around the fact of how boring it was. I mean, Kamala was terrible. There was no bite, there was no issue, there was nothing but a lot of flowery
Who? Kylo.
distractions. And,
Kylo Ren, you mean?
But somehow the white hosts really weren't confident, and what's her name was up there? Who's the lady from...
Dana Perino? Donna Brazil.
Donna Brazil was up there too.
Steve Kane Show.
And the white hosts are gingerly tiptoeing around, pointing out that it wasn't the greatest performance or anything, but not wanting to really blast her. And then they got to the the new black host, who's a real call it like he sees it guy. And he says, "You guys are just being polite," and he tore into Kamala.
Oh, I missed that.
Brutal. But I found we'll play it tomorrow from you.
Well, I need some more info. If you guys know, if anyone knows who Steve is, hey Steve, we got to reboot your we got to reboot your computer over there, because I'm having a difficult time hearing you. You just got to reboot it. That's all it'll take. But you know what? You can stay with us. Do it during the next break. You do it during the next break, you'll be fine. If anyone knows who Steve is, it's because it's causing there's like a delay. Yeah. Well, if anyone knows who Steve is talking about, let us know. He's black, and he's on Fox.
And after Kamala, it was immediately after Kamala testified or spoke, and everybody was really walking on eggshells.
Well, let's take some calls. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Todd in Arizona. You're on the air.
Hey guys, how are you? It's been a while. So I'm sure you've covered this. That my question is, if Biden is obviously checked out, maybe he lasts 6 months, but if he's not going to be the president, and then Kamala's a lightweight, she's not really the president. I mean, come on. So who behind the scenes what Kabbalah's faceless people is actually going to be.
See, you jumped. If God help us, if Biden won the election, the president would not be Kamala. It would be Jill Biden. That's who the president would be.
I don't even think it's her.
Well, Kamala
running this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Kamala is not a shrinking violet. She may not be qualified to run the country, but she could. If she ever became the president due to Biden stepping down or his being incapacitated, she could. She's got the bully pulpit. She could give him a real hard time in the Democratic Party. Not bending over. She's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but does she have the real maturity?
You agree?
No, but okay. But does she have the real maturity to be,
No.
a Bernie Sanders?
No, but she's got the aggressive personality to make a public stink about things.
Yeah.
Amazing is they pick.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I know. Well, Steve, you got to reboot your computer. Okay, so I'll get back to you during the break. Well, you got to get Tyler. You got to get Tyler over there, and he'll reboot the computer and reconnect you because there's a massive delay. No, you're still with us, Todd, but I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Yeah, if you guys would like to call in, please do it. 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. I'm going to take our break early so I can connect with Steve and get our tech issue worked out, all right? I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We will take our break and be right back after this. Do not go anywhere.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane Radio Show.
You there?
Tom called in on the radio and tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Yeah, he can't
You guys don't
hear
think-
very well,
I
and
spent
there's
the
a
last
delay,
2
so I
days
think you
trying
got
to
to
get
reboot the
brakes for my
computer
car.
and reboot and
yesterday,
connect it
go try
again,
another place
and then make
that
sure
had
he's
a
got
lower price.
make sure the
They wanted
headphones are plugged in, everything's plugged in
And
tight, and he's got them on
advertisement
right.
came on for Champagne. I live in Western Panama.
Yeah, but I would reboot everything
drive
and
up there. Well, I
reconnect
was
it.
almost blown over how
Yeah, restart the
friendly,
whole computer and
honest,
connect him again, and
old
make sure the headphones are plugged in all the way that's snapped in, and he's got them on right. There's like a big delay of like a second or two, so it's hard to talk. All right, and I'll listen in, and then I'll pipe him up once you reconnect it. All right, thanks.
You don't need brakes, and I about fell over.
Wow. Well, tell me the end of the story. You got me hooked.
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were dealing with a crook.
Oh, absolutely. This guy wanted to sell me everything but a washing machine. I don't want that.
Now, this is our new sponsor. We have wanted for a long time to have an auto repair shop. When it comes to auto repair, that is the most difficult category for us to find as an advertiser because most are like this guy you were dealing with the other day over in Tamarack. They're crooks. And we found Champagne Automotive. Ed, who's the owner, is a listener of the program. They come very, very highly recommended. So I appreciate you calling in and telling us the good story. Now, Champagne Automotive, they're in Boca off Spanish River Boulevard, immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
You've seen the ads on TV and you've heard your friends tell. Guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you will ever own. Right now at mypillow.com, when you use the promo code
It has
KANE,
been raining,
K-A-N-E, at checkout, buy one MyPillow,
Yes.
get one for free. But you have to use the promo code KANE. Right now, use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, still waiting for Steve to reconnect, and he's not back with us yet. No, not quite yet, but he will be soon. So this is our first day of technical glitches from the new studio. Maybe it has to do with the weather, because it's running. It's storming pretty hard here, so I don't know what it's like down where he's at. But it's our first. We'll get it worked out. Don't you guys worry. All right, our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE. You know, a lot of what you're seeing on the analysis on Fox News from the convention from the news people isn't so much that they're trying to put together a... Oh, we got you back, Steve? Yeah, get that. You sound better? Yeah, can you hear me? Everything okay? Okay, now... Okay, it sounds like we're doing good now. We can hear each other. You know, a lot of what's going on with the convention, like I'm not talking about MSNBC and CNN. I'm talking about the analysis on Fox, where they're tiptoeing. Every 4 years, the presidential election is the World Cup, Super Bowl, World Series, everything wrapped up together for the news. And they have an interest in making it exciting so people watch. They don't want to tell people that they got another night of programming tonight in prime time. They don't want to tell people it's boring. You know, they've sold ads for this highly rated event that's a bust. And they can't say, well, it's boring. Who's going to want to watch if they say it's boring? Steve Kane Show. Okay, hold on. Oh, yeah. Not yet, but if someone knows, give us a call. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, yes, good morning. I think it's Mark Lamont Hill. Or Lawrence Jones.
Mark Lamont Hill?
On MSNBC, I think.
Well, he's on Fox, too, now. What about Lawrence Jones?
Could be.
How hard can it be, guys? There aren't very many black guys on Fox News Channel. This should not be difficult, you know?
He's usually the one that reports, like, on-site. He's usually, like,
yes.
It's him, I probably...
Why do you think Dana Perino in particular, because we know Chris Wallace, he's a Dem, but why is Dana Perino giving such glowing reviews of every speaker at this terminally boring convention?
Because she's probably one of those anti-Trump people.
Yes.
Phony. I never trusted her anyway. Yeah.
I think she's voting for Biden, Dana Perino. She's with the Bush. Yeah, I think she's voting for Biden. She's a never-Trumper.
She's an establishment.
She is a closeted never-Trumper.
Closeted.
This week she's come out of the closet. It started with her interview with Joe Biden last week. After she interviewed Jill Biden, and up until this point, I'm almost embarrassed for her, actually. That's George Bush.
They were saying before, and they're right. I mean, all those people on Fox are professionals, and there is a part of a little voice in the back of your head when you're a professional that you want to do a show that's interesting. And if it's not interesting, you fake it.
That's correct.
A lot of that was going on last night. So they were kind of hung up in that area between the two.
Yeah. Well, I'll look today for that analysis on Fox. I don't have any Fox analysis, but I do have. This is Don Lemon and his analysis of last night.
You are a bigot. If you are one of the Proud Boys, if you are an anti-Semite, if you are a neo-Nazi, if you are the people who were marching in Charlottesville, that is your worst nightmare, what you saw on that stage, because the possibility of what's come and what America could be and should be is possibly coming to light.
Yeah, there you go. That's Don Lemon last night. Steve Kane Show. Yes. Hold on. I know. If you're a bigot, if you're an anti-Semite, that was your nightmare.
I got to tell you, this whole election and everything, I'm so tired of this color thing. The position gets, the more they play the race card, and it's just over and over and over. I'm so tired of listening to the color of people's...
Yeah. They're playing the race card more than Johnny Cochran in the OJ trial. They really are. Yeah.
The race card because they're losing.
Yeah.
That's their desperation move. Winning.
All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning. Lawrence Jones
Steve Kane
is who
Show.
you're looking for.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure who he is.
See that moment I'm talking about after...
Oh, he's gone. He hung up. So Lauren, okay, so I'll look it up. We'll see if we can get that analysis. Yeah. Chris Wallace may not want him around anymore. I'll tell you though, Britt Hume's been doing pretty good this week. I think his analysis has been pretty spot on. Yeah. All right, let's take some more calls. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, yes, Al.
What'd you think, Al? Great evening of entertainment last night?
Well, Wednesday was better. I mean,
Wednesday could have been better than Tuesday, but it wasn't. Tuesday was a step up. Wednesday was a little slow.
Last night was slow. So President Obama was slow. That's interesting.
I'm not talking about President Obama speaking. I'm talking prior to President Obama speaking.
Oh, well, okay. Give us the highlight of President Obama. He was uplifting. He wasn't boring. Give us what did Obama say that inspired you?
The part that inspired you most.
Well, the fact that he
Dead air.
says it's a make or break election.
A make or break election. That inspired you? Oh, I've been inspired.
I agree with him on that, by the way. Yeah.
Steve,
what? Al?
If you alienate 85% of your veterans who get medicine by mail by screwing around with the mail system, how many of those veterans do you think are going to say, you know something, Trump is a piece of crap. We need to.
Oh, so this is.
Explain to the audience. Explain to the audience. I want to ask you a question to see if you understand what you're talking about. What are the changes that are going to be made in the U.S. mail between now and Election Day?
The game that Brian.
Dead air.
Now you're on the air, Al.
You play as dead. You don't answer my question.
It's a good question.
Your question is if he mutes.
You weren't muted. You're not muted, Al, or we wouldn't hear you whining right now. You're not muted. The question was, Steve had asked you. Hold on, slow down. Al, you're not muted. That's why we hear you whining. Steve asked you what changed. Of course you can hear me. You're pretending not to hear because you don't have an answer. Enough. He's pretending not to hear. The answer is there'll be no changes to the postal system. That's the answer. He didn't want to say it. He knew the answer. He knew the answer. I can't hear. I'm being muted. I don't understand. I can't answer. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So Trump's lost the veterans vote, huh? Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Watching Judge...
The creep on Fox? Yeah.
I was watching Napolitano talk this morning, and what they're doing is New Jersey is sending an empty ballot to every registered voter. But if after they get it and they send it in, they can still go to they're not supposed to, but they can still go on election day to the polling place and cast a second vote, and there's no way to check on that. Napolitano says it's on the honor system.
You know, when I voted, when I voted here on Tuesday, I don't think I shared this with you yesterday because I had forgotten to share this with you on the air. But I saw something very troubling when I voted. I overheard a conversation that scared the crap out of me. There was a woman in front of me, a black lady. She was voting, okay, and she had said she had already voted through the mail and wanted to vote in person. And then they had this conversation about how they were going to cancel out her other ballot, which I don't know how the hell you do that. And they gave her a ballot, and she voted. They.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Happens in New Jersey. That's not the end of the world because I don't think New Jersey is a state that's in play.
Yeah, but Florida is.
To happen in the swing states, big trouble.
Yeah. They got all kinds of rackets going on.
Just an inch away from exploding. I really.
Well, you know. Yeah.
What we want is a national repeat of what happened to the Al Franken election, where they just find as many votes as they need to catch up at the end.
Well, you know, and they have this ballot harvesting in California where you can vote for other people. And in California, you can vote for other people. They call it ballot harvesting. I call it,
California, but California is like New Jersey.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be. It'll matter in terms of the congressional.
Well, that's important.
In terms of the presidential election. Yeah, it is. It is. I don't know. I trust the Donald to figure it out.
Yeah.
With an answer.
Well, it is a problem. It is a problem. But this ballot scams that they're running in Democrat states is another tell that they plan on losing. The Electoral College protects us in the presidential election when they run these rackets. The ballot harvesting, the thing in New Jersey. But you're right, in the congressional elections, we're in trouble. And my guess would be the Democrats maintain control of the House. They only have to flip 4 seats in the Senate, I think, to win back the Senate. Let me ask you this. If they flipped 3 seats and they only needed 1 more, the Democrats, to flip it Democrat, do you think Romney would switch parties while he's in the Senate?
Sure.
Well, he's a snake.
The guy striking out, yeah, he is really awful.
Yeah.
Of all of them, he's the most disgusting of the disgusting.
Mitt Romney, no doubt about it. Steve
My
Kane
number
Show.
1-888 go Kane 1, Kane spelt Kane 1-888 go Kane 1. If you want to put in your 2 cents here, if you watched last night's goings on at the Democratic National Convention, I'd love to get your responses, especially to the analysis that went on. Jones is the name of that guy, yes. He's excellent, and they seem to be expanding his role, and that's...
Yeah.
Fox gets so many great people, and the other 2, MSNBC and CNN, get such hacks. There must be a...
Well, I'll tell you, they really should replace Donna. They really should replace Donna Brazile on the 5. I mean, I think Donna Brazile makes the 5 unwatchable. I really do. And after what she pulled in the last election, to have her there as a credible person now. I mean, she gave Hillary the questions, and she's doing analysis. Come on. Steve Kane Show.
She admitted it when caught.
Yeah, of course. Well, hey, listen, whatever it takes. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I watched a little bit of Obama talking last night.
Yeah.
It reminds me. It makes it about him. I definitely want Trump in there much more. I was already voting for Trump, but Obama. People forget the first 4 years of Obama, the economy never recovered, and he had promised that he would not seek re-election if it didn't recover. And it didn't until like around 2014, really, or after he was.
I don't know. Let me ask you this, caller. Why do you think Obama didn't spend any time at all promoting Joe Biden?
Well, that's a good question. Because he's all about himself.
I don't think he likes Biden very much.
Yeah, I get that idea too. He doesn't like Biden. He thinks he's a racist.
He took the party donors all for himself as well. I mean, the DNC was totally lacking of funds at the end there because Obama just took up.
Now, after watching the Democrats bore America to death, what do you think will be the theme and the look next week at our convention?
Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know.
Well, I think it's going to be a big stand up against the mob and anti-crime. You know, we're having 2 Democrats speak at our convention next week. The St. Louis couple that defended their home, and the Democrats tried to put them in prison for defending their home from a mob. So I think law and order is going to be the big theme next week with us.
1968 conventions and that chaos there. I think we got to be strong on law and order, and people don't want their cities ruined by Democrats like Portland is.
Yeah.
Relatives that a relative that had to move out of Seattle downtown, and they had a antique and flower shop, and they just had to move out, and it's really sad because Seattle was really a beautiful city and all that, but they just let the anarchists and the leftists take.
Yeah. Well, listen, we got to run for our bottom of the hour break. Thanks for the call. All right, Steve, we'll be back right after this.
Excruciating back pain or sciatica, pay careful attention to what I'm about to tell you. According to a study in the medical journal Spine, back surgeries to alleviate back pain frequently backfire, leaving the patient in more pain than before they had the surgery. A second study from the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine provides clear evidence that 74% of surgeries for back pain fail. But there is an end to your suffering. There's a solution to your problem waiting for you.
What happened downstairs,
Dr. Troy Lemaski is my personal chiropractor.
I'm on the 5th floor, so I can see down in the parking lot. Garbage truck comes out to dump the dumpster. It's like an electronic thing with the arms, lifts it up over the truck. This lady from the office building next door comes out and directs him on how to dump the garbage. A piece fell out, a box fell out. She went up to the truck and told him to go pick up the box and put it in the truck. I couldn't believe.
You want to get back to your old
Had to be a
self,
Democrat.
You want to call Dr. Troy. His number 954-463-3036. That's 954-463-3036. Online at drtroylemaski.com. Tell him that Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate.
Yeah, I know. I've never seen anything like it. I wish I could be down there to hear what they were saying.
Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FIA
I know.
3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, and it's time to check in with Richard Pearl from Simply Natural with the Morning Health Report. Hey, Richard Pearl.
Hey, good morning. So I have something personal to bring up today. First of all, my sister-in-law, Zarina, my sister-in-law Zarina became a U.S. citizen yesterday, and
congratulations!
One of us. Yeah, and she's going to vote for Trump. So it's one for the good guys. So she's a U.S. citizen, and she's going to vote for Trump.
Wow!
For those people, right?
That is exciting.
Very proud. She's very proud to be an American. Something that the Democrats should learn about.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, she's voting for Trump. She's what's her country of origin? I'm curious. Oh, my goodness. And she's voting for Trump. Wow.
Well, it's a mixed thing because the people who understand what took place in Iran understand that similar things are happening now. In Iran in 1979, they were, burning statues.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of looks like Portland. Kind of looked like Portland to Ron 79. Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking that the country was going to fall, but it did. So it's very important that people vote for Trump, and if they have to, vote often, because that's what.
That's right. That's what the Democrats do. Well, I tell you another thing people should do. That's head on over to Simply Natural and talk to you about health and wellness because, you guys do a great job over there, Richard Pearl. Mm. Wow. Wow. Well, listen, people out there in the audience, Richard Pearl's store is called Simply Natural. It's where Steve and I get all of our supplements. And Simply Natural is located in Sunrise, just north of just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University Drive. They're open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. And you can reach the store at 954-741-4045. Richard Pearl, we'll talk tomorrow. Okay, all right, take care. Oh man, I'm looking at some of the worst weather outside of my window. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Oh yeah, it's oh, it's not looking good. Well, I've got the Goodyear statement on this Black Lives Matter business. I'm going to read you the official statement from Goodyear. You ready? This is the official. Yeah, this is the latest statement from Goodyear's corporate office on this thing here. Goodyear is committed to fostering an inclusive and respectful workplace where all of our associates can do their best in a spirit of teamwork. As part of this commitment, we do allow our associates to express their support on racial injustice and other equity issues, but ask that they refrain from workplace expressions, verbal or otherwise, in support of political campaigning for any candidate or political party, as well as other similar forms of advocacy that fall outside the scope of equity issues. So it seems to me the official statement says Black Lives Matter is okay, Blue Lives Matter is not.
The joke about that is the
Steve Kane Show.
That Black Lives
Hey, hold on.
Matter is not a political group.
That's right. It's racial equity. It's a racial equity organization, not political.
Ford Rush with his boycott of the Goodyear tires. I understand there's another company. Let's find out who it is that make call.
Well, it's Friendly Tire. You know what? This is what I would recommend. Okay, if you are driving on Goodyear tires, go to Friendly Tire and switch them out and get another brand on all four of them. They'll give you a good deal, I promise. But there's a lot of other brands. I'll tell you this. Yeah. There's all kinds. Oh, Michelin. There's Michelin. There's all kinds. Yeah, call Mike over at Friendly Tire. He has every make and model of tire you can imagine. So he'll be able to help you out with that. That is for sure. But it looks like Goodyear's doubling down here.
It's the original. What you just read was the original announcement.
That was their statement. The thing happened, and then they released a statement. That's their statement. So So Black Lives Matter is not a political organization, is what they're saying.
Russia's already announced support for the boycott.
Yeah.
What will be interesting to see today is what the latest development.
Mm-hmm.
Goodyear is going to see the. Rush said something yesterday that was interesting. The management or the people making the decision at Goodyear that came up with this bonehead decision probably get all their news from CNN.
Yeah.
And MSNBC, and they think that everybody hates Rush. Well, I think they're going to be disabused of that notion by the end of today. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to the phones. All right. Let's talk. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, guys. How you doing?
All right.
Good.
Listen, I'm kind of disappointed in John Kasich and Colin Powell. These guys are rhinos only, Republicans in name only. Remember Ronald?
Well, how can you be simple? Wait a minute. I got to stop and ask you something. You say you were surprised at Kasich and Powell? Powell has been pulling this crap for years. For years. He's an old establishment Republican that hasn't stood behind a lot of our conservative candidates.
Well, remember
There's
Ronald
nothing
Reagan's
to do.
commandment, thou shalt not speak evil of a fellow Republican? What the hell is John Kasich doing at the convention?
Well, there's a couple things going on here. Colin Powell, first off, the Democrats a couple years ago wanted him tried at The Hague for war crimes for lying to the UN about weapons of mass destruction. Now he's the voice of credibility with the Democrats. But, Colin Powell, I don't think he ever was a Republican. Those military promotions, when you get above major or political, and all the general ranks are promoted through congressional committee, and he came up through the ranks when, with a brief bit of Carter with Nixon, Ford, and Reagan. And I think he was a Republican just for his own personal rank advancement. I don't think he ever was a Republican. I think he's been a fraud his whole life. That's what I... And so far as John Kasich...
Political ambition.
Yeah.
He needed a party to attach his political ambitions to, and he chose the Republican Party.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
One should be shocked that's followed the career of Colin.
Yeah, and John Kasich, you can find this on YouTube. Find the video of him being pulled over by the police officer on the freeway in Columbus, Ohio, when he was writing him a ticket for speeding. I mean, this is an egomaniac of a guy who feels rejected, so he wants to go and screw. I want you to go look at that video. You get to see his personality plus what he thinks about cops. He's a cop hater. He's very arrogant. He feels left out of the Republican Party under Trump, and he's trying to get even. He's selfish. Selfish and petty.
Guys, with a few words. Trump today, Trump tomorrow, Trump forever.
That's right. See, I think Obama did severe damage last night to Joe Biden by not promoting him. He didn't promote Biden at all. No, nothing. I mean, that was severe damage he did to Biden.
Yeah, I say no bump in this convention.
Oh, an anti-bump. An anti-bump. We're going to get the bump. Trump's going to get the bump from this convention, not the Democrats. I think it's fair to say, watching Obama last night, he does not want Joe Biden to be the president of the United States. That he would rather Trump be the president than Biden.
Could be.
All right, listen, we'll take our last break of the hour and come back with the Gold Report. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority, and this time a
little bit probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that clicking's me. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
it's me.
Thermostat's turned up to 78. You wanted that warmer here?
You can turn. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there. Hold on. Yeah, show's almost over. I don't care.
Give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors, that's how, at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, and we are back. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. You with us, Steve? Oh, good. I thought I launched it. This weather is awful outside today. It's time for the Gold Report, where I know everything is always great. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good. All right, it should be interesting. Big pullback yesterday. I'm anxious to find out. And of course, that's why I look forward to the Gold Report each and every day and the Steve Kane Show at this time. I want to find out if that pullback is continuing. William, what's it looking like?
It looks interesting, Steve. Volatility is the name of the game right now, and that's giving us people who are trying to accumulate gold and silver at discount prices great opportunities to jump in at lower prices. As we've said, buy on the dips, and we get those huge. The volatility has given us great opportunities to do just that. Gold, after trading up to over $2,000 the day before, traded all the way down to $1,927.90 yesterday, closing down $72.40. That gave us great opportunities. Saw a lot of buying coming in, and of course, that's what this is about the third time we've seen a move like this. And immediately the buyers come in, and overnight we saw gold trade in a range of $1,923 to $1,956. These ranges, silver trades in a dollar range of $26.60 to $27.52. So this is great opportunities for people who are looking to add to their positions, and this volatile market gives us those opportunities. It just takes a little bit of guts and people to hang in there and take advantage of this. It's not for the faint of heart if you're trying to accumulate at bargain levels. Nevertheless, gold traded down $72.40 yesterday, closing at $1,927.90. Silver was down 98 cents at $26.66 the ounce. Platinum was down $30 at $922, while palladium was down $58 at $2,032. This morning, we got the same turnaround again. Gold back up to $1,945. That's up $17.10. And as I said, overnight we traded all the way up to $1,956. The stock market is poised to open lower today. The U.S. dollar index is, and much of the reason for the big move in gold down yesterday was that the dollar index had changed direction and was up pretty dramatically for a one-day move in the dollar index, but that's down again today with the U.S. dollar index at 92.90, and that's giving some more fuel to gold finding stabilization around that $1,940 number. That's up $17.10 right now at $19.45. Silver up 60 cents right now at $27.25 the ounce, while platinum is unchanged at $922, and palladium is up $21 at $2,053. Interesting, we also saw copper move to the highest it's been in about 2 years yesterday. That's indicative of some interesting scenarios that we can talk about another time. But right now, gold looks like it's in a good support level of around that $1,945 number. That's about the highest it hit in 2011. So that 2011 high is quickly becoming the support level for gold now, and the resistance being up around that $2,000 number. And that's pretty much where we are starting this day, Steve.
Well, a good day, obviously, to take advantage of the pullback. Stop by William Youngerman. Do it. It's not going to stick around forever, and he who hesitates, what do they say? He who hesitates is lost. William Youngerman, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road. That's in Boca Raton. It's in the Bank of America building on the first floor. It's directly across the foyer from the Bank of America. William, give him the phone number.
1-800-327-5010. 800-327-5010. Our hours are 10 till 5 Monday through Friday. And everything, we have all the product in stock for immediate delivery.
And don't forget to visit that great museum quality website at williamyoungerman.com. William, we'll talk tomorrow right around this time. All right?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, and a very this is really bad weather. It looks like either a hurricane or Wizard of Oz outside the window. You know, wasn't Obama live last night? I think he was live. I think it said live. Yeah, and see Obama,
That's on.
What's that?
Some calls filling us in. I miss Pelosi.
Oh, I missed her too. Madam Speaker, we missed it. Yeah, I missed that too.
I didn't hear any references to her in the commentary.
That's a good question. I do not know. I didn't. You know what? I don't know.
Where has Nancy gone?
No. When I made that Wizard of Oz reference, is that what reminded you of her? I don't know. All of a sudden, I said Wizard of Oz outside, Margaret Hamilton.
Pick those ruby slippers.
Yeah, I know. You know, I'll tell you. Yeah, go ahead.
Any chance they canceled her and didn't tell?
No, she was there. I know she was there. I just didn't. I guess she didn't do anything that was newsworthy.
That's the thing. I've been watching Fox for most of overnight. I never heard anybody refer to her.
It must have been really bad and non-memorable.
Something we want to know about it.
I do. Yeah, I did hear Mrs. Clinton. Let me play a little bit of Mrs. Clinton here.
Joe and Kamala can win by 3 million votes and still lose. Take it from me. So we need numbers overwhelming.
Take it from me. Take it from me. You know, what Obama was missing last night, because he didn't have any energy either, is he didn't have a live audience. You just can't do it without a live audience, unless you're a really good actor.
Used to being king of the world, and it's taking shape in his mind now that his day has come and gone.
Yeah.
His days of fame are over.
Yeah, I guess so. He can't move people anymore. He can't move people. He can't influence people. Yeah. Good morning. You're on the radio. Yeah. Yes, you're on the air. Oh, hey, Attorney Barry Siegel. Yeah, caught you off guard, Barry. Oh, we're doing well. What's the latest at the... Yeah. There you go. Same time. We're in unison. We're a choir.
What I wanted to mention today is if we don't have a plan, if we don't have an estate plan set up, if we haven't done a will, if we haven't done a trust, set things up to protect ourselves and our family, you really do already have a plan. You have the state of Florida plan, the rules of intestacy. Those are the default plans that the state of Florida gives us. And so you do have a plan. You just may not know what that plan is, how it's going to work out.
It's a bad plan.
Excuse me?
I say you have a plan, it's just a bad plan, probably.
Right, you have a plan. Your plan will then go through probate because you're not planning to avoid it. You don't have a bloodline planning for your loved ones. You don't really have control over who's going to step in and handle things for you. You're at the mercy of the state laws. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you make a plan so decisions are made the way you would want them to be made, and the right people will be handling things for you. You'll have the probate avoidance if that's the goal of yours, and you'll be able to make sure that the people you love are protected, that their inheritance is going to go where you want it to go, not elsewhere to unintended beneficiaries. So get a plan. Make sure you have a plan that's going to work for you.
And there's no charge for the consult for Steve Kane listeners. Tell them what number to call to make that appointment.
Sure. You can reach us toll free, 855-FLA-3782. That's 855-FLA-3782.
And online at SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry, we will talk later in the week. All right, take care. I just looking, Steve. This is USA Today. Kamala Harris makes history. Obama accuses Trump of treating presidency like a reality show. You know, what did she make history? They've got this new standard. Yeah. None? No, that's why I was looking. I don't see anything about Nancy.
Yeah, there'd be somebody in our audience that saw her.
Maybe she's tonight. Maybe she's tonight with Biden. I mean, that's why I was looking to see. I didn't see anything with her. No, she spoke, because I just pulled it up. It's Nancy Pelosi's full speech at the 2020 Democrat convention. Yeah, she spoke. She just didn't make the news today.
One thing that was notable?
I guess not. It says here, this is from the LA Times, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the most powerful elected official in the Democrat Party, she said President Trump is an enemy of working women in her speech at the DNC convention Wednesday night. She says, as Speaker, I've seen firsthand Donald Trump's disrespect for facts, for working families, and for women in particular. Disrespect written into his policies towards our health and our rights, not just his conduct, but we know what he doesn't. That when women succeed, America succeeds. So that's what she said. He's against women. Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah.
Really focused on the suburban housewives.
They're just desperate, Steve. They're just desperate. That's basically all it is. But you know what? It's the end of the show where it's time to say goodbye. So do you want to say the goodbyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. On behalf of my fabulous technical advisors, Tyler Kane. There's the man. And, of course,
That's right.
It's summertime, and that means backyard grilling time. There's no better grill than the Big Green Egg Grill, available at Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware. The Big Green Egg is the world's most versatile charcoal cooking device. It's made of advanced ceramics, retains heat and moisture so that foods don't go dry. The Big Green Egg isn't just another grill. It's also an oven and smoker. It's the only outdoor cooker you will ever need because of the amazing variety of foods that can be cooked on it. The Big Green Egg not only sears steaks, hamburgers, pork chops, and fish, but also bakes bread, pizza, cookies, cakes, and pies. It can smoke turkey, ham, lamb, chicken, and ribs for hours on end. Your neighbors will be impressed and come over just to watch you cook on the Big Green Egg. The Big Green Egg is available at Ace Hardware Deerfield at 365 South Federal Highway, just south of Hillsboro on the west side of US 1, and at Beach Ace Hardware at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea. If you have any questions, call Ace Hardware Deerfield at 954-531-6265, 954-531-6265, and Beach Ace Hardware at 954-776-5811. And when you stop in, make sure you tell Frank you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet.
All right, guys. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, all right? If you are subscribed, do a couple things for me, all right? Like the video, and also make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell. I'd appreciate it, all right? I'll see you guys later. Take care, everyone.